Holy smokes, Batman. Are we actually back? Behavior. Ah, we crashed. What's new? Oh, no. It's gotta be here. Focus mode is semi-auto. Set it to me. Blur that a little bit. What's a good angle here? So it's gotta be a little lower. There. There. I'm back. Yes, I'm back. Where is stream chat though? I don't know. Yeah, that's vertical. This is the Twitch activity feed. Let's put that here so I can see. Put that like right about here. Put this thing over here. Put the activity feed here on the left. And then what else? This thing. This thing here. Man, it sucks when you crash because I have to redo everything. But such is the nature of streaming. Everything's smooth though, right? Thanks, D. Now let's start inviting my guests. Invite. Potato Foxy, send invite. And of course, Doki. Where is Doki? I thought he was online. Guess not. Doki, if you're listening, feel free to join. Also, I need to find a good backdrop. 1 second. Aperture. Is it a bit far? There we go. Let's see. It's currently 10:30 a.m. Right. We're back. Lovely background and lovely person. Thank you. Hold on. I'm fixing things. Sorry, chat. We kind of crashed. Okay. Now that's it. Now to change the camera angle. I think this is good. I just need to turn myself. Hi, Axiom. So turning around. Where is the camera? Oh, it's right there. If I move here. Oh, this is good lighting. Let's move the lens a bit further back, somewhere here. And then, hey! What are you doing?
Where's the other beam? I'm gonna go get the other beam.
No, it has to be against you.
Oh, there you are.
I guess we're back.
Wait,
Now to find a good angle for both of us. Well, the three of us. Okay, the light here is good. The light here is okay. Wait. There we go. This is good. More dramatic. Hello.
dramatic, you say?
Yes.
Dramatic.
What are you
Cape Town.
doing with my? Oh my god.
I don't know who did that. I don't know who did that. Who must have done this?
Welcome back. Now we'll wait for our fourth guest. Hold on.
You need more screen real estate.
I need more screen real estate. You guys fit perfectly on Twitch, but unfortunately on TikTok we are rather limited.
Why don't you
Well-
just use the horizontal camera on
Because-
TikTok?
Because I don't think people like watching their phones like in long, that format.
Ah,
Actually, I can try, right? Like nobody really wants to like hold their phone sideways for a long time. Like,
Like, I have a fold, so it's potato for me.
that's that. You're the exception. I can try. Okay, maybe I'm gonna get rid of the little can. No, TikTok coin jar. Oh, now I gotta reintegrate the Tickfinity. Do I have to do this all the time, Potato?
no, no.
Like
You
it's
just need
a-
to.
connect to TikTok Live. Oh, there we go.
It will also automatically connect. Don't worry
Okay.
about that.
Got it.
Yeah, you just need to open your live. Need to go live and open Tickfinity, and that's it.
Okay. All right. This is a good angle. Now to set up my floating. Oh, there's Dot. We're finally gonna meet one of my assassins.
Uh-oh, I'm scared.
We're gonna sit down.
Oh, right, okay. Wait, yeah. Breaking
Wait,
news.
isn't the desktop one?
Like your
What was-
rainbow.
It's a rainbow, it's a pride thingy.
That's really small.
Oh yeah. Happy Pride Month. Happy Pride Month.
What's happening? What? There we go. Okay, we're back. We're live. All is somewhat well. And there's Loki. Alright. Is my audio clear? It's Axiom. Asking for age is sensitive. Yes, it's a secret. Shh. Okay, hold
We're
on.
just in the background.
Yeah, I'm gonna fix that.
We're the background characters.
Yeah.
The background characters.
Can they be seen? No. Behavior, look at me. Now it's time to turn that off. I lost track of my camera. There we go. Oh god.
Bonk,
Oh. Why?
bonk.
Here you go, guys.
Against Fanino.
That- That's the best I can do. Looks a little weird on Twitch because yeah. Okay, is that VR? Yes. Happy Pride Month, Kuya Gebus. Happy Pride Month, MJ. Oh, look, I'm so proud of these two there. We finally see Doki. Hold on. You're in your fallback. Ba-da-da-da-da.
Oh my god.
There we go. Ah,
Oh,
Hello?
So pretty.
see?
Oh
The
my,
most
I'm sure you are.
unassuming of all mods,
Oh my god.
yet also the deadliest.
Is that a fucking couch?
That is a
Yeah.
couch.
You should sit down with us.
I'm in half body, so.
I am in half body too, so
Oh.
let's keep that there.
Mhm.
No go loco.
Yes. I have, but I'm standing up, so.
Oh my god.
If D the assassin as I've said, you need a computer first.
Squimsh.
Okay. Wait. Where's my camera anyway?
Wow.
There. There. Wow. Oh, so much setup. Okay, we're back. So,
Let me double boop. Double boop.
can the pink scream? Oh, you're so lucky she's not here on the live right now.
Oh, who me?
Good morning, Max. Yeah, good morning, Che. Where's Axiom? Axiom. Yeah, you can sit. Sit. Come on. So I can get a good shot of you three on the couch. I can move the camera. Okay, it's these three. This is Potato Foxy. Resident femboy extraordinaire, Popular. What more can you ask?
Hey, how
This
dare you use that
is-
word?
Hey, you have 3 times my followers, or like 10. This is Doki. Look at this. Silent, but extremely ruthless.
Hello.
Super duper
They're a
cute.
couch
Watch
potato.
out.
They're a couch potato.
This is
Not
Axiom.
even on the couch.
You all know Axiom. Fan favorite when it comes to horror games and such. Also serves as backup
Horror
like
games? I
food
like
source.
Horror games. I like horror
This
games.
is
I
the
like horror
cast.
games.
Let's get a good shot of the
Wait.
cast.
Yeah, me too. I don't like, but you know, kind of like playing with friends or games.
I'm gonna. You want this?
Horror game. Yeah.
Can actually move it. Oh my
Blah.
god.
The Blaha.
With the-
Also, thank you for the rainbow. So yes.
I need
Hmm.
this.
Oh, yeah.
Also, check out Axiom's Cape. Very apt for this month. Again, happy Pride, everyone.
Yeah.
Even if you're straight, it doesn't matter. Send them love.
Power of God and gay on my side.
Where is Gib? Gib is right here controlling the camera. And I just spoiled my outfit to all of you guys.
Who's
Ooh.
dead?
Oh my god.
Who's Gib? This is
Geb's
that.
cake.
This is my.
Geb's-
Yeah, that's.
Geb's cake is delicious.
My
It's a black
God.
forest.
I don't know what they're talking about, chat.
The fact that that's an actual cake too.
Yeah.
Alright.
That's Zuma. There we go. Okay. A little.
Now we're talking about the actual K-pop.
Oh, I don't know. I just know it's an actual cake flavor.
Yeah, black forest is an actual cake.
Only Jesus.
Okay, now, yeah, we're speaking of Gogo.
Only blow.
There we go. Now I'm like locked in place.
Stop it! Stop it!
Wait, hold on. I have a bunch of default poses
Crucify the
here.
blahaj.
Yeah.
Oh, what? It doesn't work.
I have the urge to kill cuteness.
Because
You
it
know, it's so
thinks.
cute that I want to hug it. I want to hug all the cuteness to
Hold
death.
on. Second. It thinks I'm in full body. One moment. Come
Oh
on.
my god.
I'm not full body
Oh
on.
dear. Oh dear.
No! You're making me baked potato.
What?
That's my joke. Dare you? Okay, you're literally potato. Oh dear.
I'm gonna tease.
Okay, there we go. Ah, I can actually like crouch.
Bully him.
There. It's not so janky anymore.
Dance monkey dance for views.
Bullying time? Bullying time. Oh,
Hey, Gab.
Hello,
You
potato.
can ask me anything.
Yes, I know. I'm just gonna crouch here while you guys are flying. Set the camera down. Okay, this is a better view for chat. You can see the whole couch. You can see the maid outfit that potato has.
Hello.
I'm being invaded. Okay. Let's
Your
see, what's
cape.
happening?
Oh my god.
Yeah, the
in
cape's
front of
awesome.
you.
10 gay. Oh wait, what?
I'm gonna start reading chat.
Homo.
There we go.
There you go.
It's
Axiom is happy to be there. Where is Gib? Not the sword monk, yes. The random couch in the desert. I know Gaya.
Axiom.
We're really getting a Gebus NSFW streams. No. Why does he have a green sword? Because he's green. He's made of leaves.
Sword, my diamond sword, so you cannot be hold.
Can you say my user?
Gab.
Blahaj is not happy.
Yes?
There you go.
Oh my god. No! Not on stream.
Bonk.
Oh, look at D, the only one who can't join. Axiom salad, yes.
D has to hold down the fort.
Yes, D has to hold down the fort. We all know how unruly TikTok chat is. What's this? Axiom salad, yeah, that's right. Correct. My photosynthetic Nardo.
Oh,
Photosynthetic.
Yeah, there the photosynthetic Nardo. There we go. We call Stepan the stoplight samurai or the photosynthetic Nardo. Perfect, you have a cape.
God,
Goes well with the superhero name.
Hey.
Hey dude,
Hey,
who
Gab.
is
You know what?
Yeah.
What
You know
maid
what
do you
the
want?
impact
A
difference
dragon
is?
or a fox?
A dragon, definitely a dragon.
Dragon,
Oh, you hate me.
dragon?
Definitely a dragon.
Oh
No, you're okay. That works too. Why in this angle? What? Oh my god, chat. Potato Fox is
Here.
showing me his desert oasis.
For
You're lucky
free?
TikTok can't see
Jesus
everything.
Christ.
You see, I thought if I'd stream in the desert, we wouldn't end up doing hot tub content. But it seems the sand
Jesus,
does
Disappeared
not
to the
deter them.
abyss. It's lost.
I'm so happy right now, Chad. Anyway, where were we? The smell of my air fried goods. There we go. Yes, I did put some meat in the air fryer while my PC was restarting. So I'm getting a bit hungry. Okay, English or Spanish? English.
Oh, ears.
I think Doki can speak Spanish. I'm not sure. Doki is the cute one behind me with the really long hair. Ah. I'm new to the fandom and I'm wondering if you have any tips and tricks. Fandom of what? Desert
Furry, I
Explorer?
guess.
Furriness? Femboys? The various specialists here on stream right now. Goobiness?
I almost died.
No, it's fine. It's fine. It's okay. It's fine.
Gebos, why are you
I
crouching?
have
So my friends can fit on
129.
frame better.
Oh, no. Oh, no. What's my
I think
ping?
it's 'cause I'm in the US.
244, gotcha.
Oh,
No, Gab is Siga.
how are you here?
Oh, you know what?
Siga,
Go ahead
siga
and
ba?
improve my ping
Ano
real
ha?
quick.
Angas mo ah. Ka na ganyan. Bading ka no.
Go.
Bading ang put.
Is it Avatar related or something?
No, I have a direct connection to the VRChat server. It's in my the European servers.
Don't you just like Potato Foxes? Very apt outfit. This is gonna be very interesting for reality. A sample of the
I'll go F
diversity we're
myself,
gonna
I guess,
encounter.
No, it's okay.
It's dying in the US.
Yung buko. There's the buko meat right there. May buko meat.
Coin, food.
Di ba bilog yun?
Coin.
Yes.
It looks like a pouch. So, pag buo pa yung buko meat, bilog kasi yun. So, it's like a bulge.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Coin.
Is that guy Filipino? Are you Filipino, Potato Foxy?
Coin food.
No, I'm American.
American. Tagalized American.
Nah. Yeah, Filipino. Asian. I'm
Asian.
Asian.
Definitely Asian. We're called like islanders, but Asian. Mga tambay. Is it the Fox?
But I don't think
Is that we just need like gang signs? What's this?
Bah.
Oh, our streams is growing. We are now at 18 viewers.
Cute. Your
Look at
hair is
that.
so curly.
Wait,
How many
oh
hairspray
my
did
God.
you use to make that
A lot.
to make it curly?
Like, at least
I like it
so
that they're
far.
getting along so naturally.
You know what?
Yes.
You know what? Your hair. Messing up your hair. Messing up your hair.
I've just become the fidget toy.
Yay!
Is the cake for sale?
Roller coasters.
That one is the one in pink.
We're both in pink. Which one?
The one with more, the gayer pink. This one.
Okay.
Nah.
No.
This
cake?
Yeah, that cake. This particular
God.
piece of exotic fruit is indeed for sale. How much? Send them a DM.
The only cake.
Yeah,
was-
bawal yan
Cake
ah.
of
Ba't ka nagkakakra... I don't know, Chikoy. It just sort of happened.
My
I'm
cake
very
is the
in-
cake of peace.
The cake of peace and unification.
Yeah, 'cause
You
I
see,
would
if you look
say
at from the back, it's two halves representing opposing sides coming
W.
together.
Oh, tail. Tail.
It's so
And-
shiny.
And I'm being touched. My tail is being touched.
You're being
My ears are being touched. I feel like I'm mingling with the locals and I can't be rude or else I'm gonna be speared to death. Speared to death.
no. If anyone getting speared, you
Oh, yeah.
spear me.
I speak. Right. Right. Oh, Nika says action.
Huh?
Bit
What?
gross.
Me? Is me?
Yes,
Me?
Nika
What?
is saying
What?
action.
Me? Me? Is me?
All right. Is the you ask these two, not me.
Huh? The what? Which what? What? What?
Gonna kiss the
Oh,
dragon because
Yes,
the dragon's
yes,
cute.
that one.
Mwah.
There we go. Chat. Come on, go. We have 10 seconds of focus between the green and the pink. So as it is Pride Month, so they do need to give a celebratory kiss. Ah, there you go. See? And the celebratory lick. Whoa, the pink guy, he's cute. I totally know a different pink guy, but if you're pertaining to potato, yes, he is. Happy Pride Month. Yes, that's the one time I'm gonna forgive you. Are all caps in chat. You're lucky that see that thing now, white kitty with very nice hair. If she's in chat right now, heads will roll.
I'm not very nice.
She's not very nice,
You're very nice.
despite the look.
Sometimes. Sometimes.
Sometimes.
You should drink ginger tea.
Ginger tea.
warm
I
your
actually
body.
like ginger tea. Ginger tea with honey. It's really
Do the
good.
gibbous squat.
Yeah. And some lime
Yeah,
too.
yeah.
12 liters of vodka might
Ginger
help too.
ginger tea with lime.
Ginger and lemon. I agree.
It's
I
delicious
completely
too.
agree. Let me just.
You know.
Help too.
Cutie.
What question? Keta, thank you for the letter. I want to see Axiom. Axiom needs to be in frame. Okay, Axiom can position behind the Doki here, so all four of us fit.
Hello,
There we go. Let me just adjust the camera really quick. Okay, gang. Here's the whole gang. Sorry, Twitch crew. There we go. Up, there. That's perfect. Can we get an abwa?
Abwa.
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 I gotta mingle with the locals, guys.
Abwa. Abwa.
Ha ha ha! Action really likes your nose, Gib. Yes, he does. Play horror, all four of you. Let's see. We gotta get out of the desert first. Who's
Oh, you
the
played
green
the smile
dragon
room.
guy? Yeah, I did.
Oh, no.
I did. We were playing the 10th floor last time. He hasn't seen like past floor 4. I'm looking for more horror maps. Yeah, he hasn't
Have you
been
played
yet,
the part 2 of the 10th floor?
Part 2?
Yeah.
No, I haven't.
There's a part 2 of the 10th floor.
I'm gonna play the part 2. I'm game for that. Are you game for part 2 of the 10th floor? Now there's a full party.
Anyway.
See, we have the assassin, we have the maid, the healer, we have the alchemist, and we have me. Play horror.
We have the guy with
Yes.
all the artillery.
If you're gonna do desktop games, you should try Indigo Park.
Indigo Park. What's that?
Yeah, it's a horror game. It's free on Steam. Chapter 1. They're gonna release Chapter 2 next year.
Really?
It's not gonna be free though next year. Yeah.
Okay.
The Chapter 2 is gonna be free. It's really good. It's really short. Yeah.
Is it like a
Like,
note finding
You can,
game? Or?
you can. It's like Puppy Playtime plus
Oh.
Five Nights at Freddy's.
Mm.
What to go? Yeah. It's really good. It's really good. A lot of furries love it.
Indigo Park. I'll definitely check it out.
Yeah.
Can I get a hoy? No, I almost said it. We're gonna have a Gebos 18 plus stream soon.
Hey, yeah.
Mhm. That's Foxy's department.
Shark.
Let me join the game elevator.
Oh,
You
the
know.
shark is here now.
We're going strong with 33 viewers plus 10 on Twitch. Do you like it? Do you like the party assembled? Hey, Mayo.
I am 2 of the viewers.
You're 2 of the viewers. That's true. Totnak
I'm
yan
doing my
mamaya.
part.
Gago. Totnak ka puta.
For democracy.
Totnak. Balik na rin mo yung totnak. Totnak. Say
Oh my
totnak.
god.
Like fast. You see what you find. Figure it out.
No.
I'm trying to catch
What's the name of the
Sentinel.
map of the 10th floor part
Can't
2?
get anything.
I know
It's just
it's
that-
done for like part 2.
Is it from the same author? Obviously, like I can just check from
Yeah.
his like maps. Okay, that's interesting. When did it come out? Is it recent? Because I don't remember checking it out. Wow, we're at 41 viewers. Plus
No,
9.
it's actually it came out like last year.
So I've been missing
yeah, like
out.
the 10th. Yeah, the 10th floor. There's like the 10th floor, and there's like the 10th floor part 2. Yeah.
Let me check that out right now.
I'll-
Worlds.
I'll drop a portal. Just yeah.
Wait. 10th floor. 13th floor. Yeah, drop a port. The
You
13th floor. What's that?
Mining mo.
There you go. See,
Don't really.
part 2. The 10th
Oh,
floor.
it's not numbers. It's
Just beating
letters.
Debbas.
Yeah,
Oh,
even the
boy.
first one, it's letters.
Really? I'm dumb. do you what? You know what? Are you ready to see a horror stream? Are you guys ready? Okay, let's go. We have 10 seconds.
Wait,
No, no,
Axiom
no,
haven't
no,
finished
no,
the part 1.
Oh yeah, you need.
No,
oh, that's
no,
true.
No,
Let's
I'm
go to
looking.
part 1 first, and then we can do part 2.
No,
Don't
I
worry.
want to- I don't want-
Don't worry,
I don't want
a fox is here.
to- I don't want to-
Me too.
I don't know how.
Oh,
they
your
do it,
eyes
though.
reflect the beauty of things. Oh, I'm beautiful in your eyes. Mwah.
Yes, you are. What?
Very in League of Furries. What? Yes, the party is assembled. The Avengers the world deserves. Okay. Okay. Oh my
I
god.
have a cape and everything. I am an Avenger.
Yeah, exactly. It's like we're the mystery men, but worse. Like with less budget for the show.
We're the secret Avenger.
Yeah.
Yeah. With my superpower.
Who's the cat? She's so
Summoning-
cute.
Uh,
And that
Summoning,
is
summoning couches.
This is Doki.
Diamond
no,
sword.
my superpower is. No, my superpower is.
My
reaching behind my
deadliest
back and
warrior.
grabbing Anything.
He's my mod. She does great art. Check out her social. I don't know what your socials are. I can't type it out, honestly, but check her out, guys.
oh, it's in
Go,
the
go, go,
introduction
go.
channel in your Discord.
Go to my Discord. You're gonna see Doki's social card link. I remember now.
Mm-hmm.
How long did it take you to make that drawing, by the way?
The drawing, I think it took me maybe like 2 days.
Imagine if the
Seems
world
okay.
transformed.
That's super cool. I really like it. Thank you.
Imagine if
At
the
least I get
world
to
gives
thank
you
you in
power,
person, man.
your avatar power.
Oh, look at these.
Oh my god, the cape! Oh my god, the cape!
All right, it's time.
Got a
It's
mind
time.
of its own.
Potato, you need to drop a portal to like the first
Hmm?
part of the 10th floor. The first part of the 10th floor, you gotta drop a portal.
Oh, okay. I thought you were going to drop it. Okay.
No, you do. Oh yeah, I can do it. You can do it.
Here.
I don't want
No. Let me.
Should I do it?
I'm dropping it now.
Okay.
As long as it's Friends Plus.
Yeah, make sure it's friends. Wait, no, randoms might join if it's friends plus. Let me do it.
Okay.
I want to go home.
And
It's okay.
Maybe
I'll be here.
maybe
Support.
invite plus.
Emotional support.
Yeah,
Puppy
invite
is
plus.
here. Okay.
all right.
Don't worry.
So
I'm
new
scared
instance.
too. We can be scared together.
The party's perfect. We have the straight guy, straight man, the straight character, which is me. Like like in Gintama, we have the guy with glasses, and then we have the obviously very sultry character, and then we have the goober, and then we have let's go the mean cat. Let's go. All right, gang, we're gonna fly.
The mean.
The mean cat.
I'm not a cat.
You're not a cat? Oh yeah, hello chat. Hey Mecca, what do you know? Glad to see you. Okay, so oh dear. So obviously we're gonna turn off our desert music. We're gonna turn on our world music. Mecca, you're free to like hang out and join, okay? I super love your company, really. Let me just Doki, you're not
Also,
a
yes,
cat?
again,
Did I
I'm not a cat. Look up.
What?
Look at my butt.
Oh wait, I'm looking at it. I'm reading it right now. Oh shoot, you're right, you're a dog. Oh, my bad. Hey, chat called you a cat. I just
Fine,
followed
right here.
along. You're a palm? That's
Sad.
super cute. I have like a palm. I like my like neighbor has a palm that loves me very much, and I just want to take it home. Oh my god.
I have one.
Oh no,
I
what
have one
color
as
is your
well. He's
palm?
my son.
He's your son. Oh.
What? What color?
Yeah, what
yeah,
color?
he's cream colored.
Oh, palms are so cute. Okay, how do I
He's a
do
fur
this?
one.
Do I just
What?
Okay, this is gonna be a little difficult to handle the camera, so 1 second. Let's turn off autofocus. Axiom message that they will be right here. To make it immersive, I'm gonna close my floating windows. So I see nothing but the environment we are in.
In your chat, of course.
Yeah, I'm closing chat.
Wait, you're closing chat? How would you see their chat?
You know, that's a good point.
How would you see?
No, I'm gonna shrink it. I'm gonna shrink it.
You know what you should do is, did you pop out your chat? Like, pop out?
No, I'm doing it right now. I'm gonna.
So
do it.
so
Yeah,
that
so
you
it's on
can
my
only
wrist.
you can only
It's
see
on
the
my
chat,
wrist.
yeah.
That's true. Okay, I'm popping out chat. And chat is popped out. I'm putting chat here.
I'm sassy? Oh my god, how did you know?
Move this.
How did you know that I'm sassy?
Yes, queen.
Yeah, oh my god, Gabe.
Slay.
Where did you get your clothing? It's so slay. I know, right, girl?
Hey! Oh my god, my OVR just crashed. There goes the floating thing. No, I gotta
You know
crash.
what? Give me your Steam, and I'll give you Access Overlay. It's much more optimized,
Really, it's better? Yeah,
It's
sure, my
easy.
Steam. I'll DM it to you later.
and it's easier too.
I don't know the link, so.
Yeah, it's easier too.
Okay.
It's in Steam. Yeah, it's in Steam.
There we go. Now I can view you guys. Welcome to third person gaming. My overlays just crashed, so I am gonna reopen my janky little window. Float in world. There we go. I can see chat enough. Gabe, where is Axiom? Axiom said they are gonna join shortly. Hey, are you made of tellurium and copper because you are cute? I'm guessing that's an advanced element table. What do you call it? Periodic
Yeah.
table of elements. Joke.
Yeah, periodic table. Yeah, element.
I like lamao. Is that a fox or
Pepper, I see
raccoon?
you. Yeah.
Potato is obviously by the name of fox.
Yeah,
this
I'm
is
a
a
fox
palm.
with a floppy ear. I'm a fox
I
with
like
a
that.
floppy ear.
This setup is like this cast is perfect for like those very cliche slasher films, you know. Yeah.
You know what? We're just like in
Oh, no.
Scooby Doo, you know.
Yeah,
We're just like in
exactly.
Scooby Doo.
Exactly. Let me turn off the accidental sneezes. There we go.
You know, like Gib is Fred because Fred is like fearless.
I am
Thought you
anything
were
but
gonna say the
fearless.
typical straight man.
Typical straight man.
Wait, you're straight?
I can be the token black
No
guy
way.
if you want. Man, I never should have gone this trip. Okay, wait. Now we're waiting on action. Hold on. Let me check my Discord real quick. I hope you guys aren't bored. Axiom says,
I thought he said he
Oh.
was sitting out.
waiting on you. He says, oh, I'm a B right there. Well, that was 5 minutes ago. Let's give him 5 more minutes. You know what? We can't start this without Axiom, so we're gonna chat here.
We're gonna start without Axiom?
No, of course
But how
not.
would Axiom...
We're just
Oh.
gonna chat here for now.
Yeah.
Okay, we'll wait. How do I? It's so hard to type with the controllers. Wait, 5U.
True.
Okay. With that being
Yay,
said,
spooky time.
yeah, let's
I'm
let's
not
fix the
ready.
camera real quick. What's this? Sit. I can't reach my
Sitting
camera, so
down.
I. Yes. Get up. Oh no, I can't get up.
My tail is broken.
Hey Gebus, what happened to Potato's tail? Seems pretty fixed to me. Look at that texture.
Yeah, it's broken. My
No,
tail
it's-
is like the... No. If you look at on the side.
Okay.
See,
Oh,
there's, like,
yeah, the
broken
tip.
parts here.
What is that?
Yeah.
Such a fancy glass.
It was fixed and then there's something changed, then it broke again. It's gonna be fixed again.
We're going strong with 37 viewers and rising. Hello, chat. We're just waiting on our favorite scaredy cat Axiom to solve some headset troubles, and then we can start our little horror journey. Unfortunately, I'm not in full body. I'm in half body right now, but I'm gonna still experience horror in its fullest.
Wait, if we're the Scooby Doo cast, he's the gay and you're the straight, the hell am I?
You're the smart one, the nerdy.
You're the
type.
no, you're the
Oh,
stone,
that is-
the smart
No.
nerdy, the stoner. The
No.
what?
No. You're the bully type. You're the bully.
Can I join D if Vilma? Yeah, Vilma and Shaggy combined.
Have you watched Velma? Like the series Velma?
No, I haven't. Not yet.
The new
Where's-
one? No.
No.
Yeah, they made one. It's so cringy. It's so cringy that it's funny. Like
I think that's
Velma
the whole
and
point.
Daphne was gay.
Yeah.
they're like lesbian. Like they have like.
D?
together.
I
Okay,
just
D
heard
is
Megan got
asking
bad.
if he can join. The thing
It's
is, we're gonna
funny.
have no
It is-
mods on
it is
TikTok.
funny, though.
The choice, the difficult choice. What do you think, guys? I mean, I'm okay with it.
Yeah, go for it.
Yeah, D. D
You
unfortunately
know, I
is on
love how they
quest.
said that.
I love what?
Oh, then we'd have to cater to that. No, I said I love that they said that I was the stoner when that's actually like accurate to me too.
Yeah, that is.
Oh
Right?
my god. Goku waifuries. Why not?
Oh, you're reading chat. Okay, good. That
Yeah.
makes things easier for me. Can you see chat too, Doki? Ish.
I might need
No.
to pop it up, but my ping is like horrid.
It's okay. Where are you from again? I forget. Europe or America?
Yeah.
America, the latter one. Okay.
Yeah, I can't. I tried it, I can't.
It's okay. Understandable. Chat,
They're
she's
safe
not a
for
cat.
now.
She's a poem, okay? Yep, and you're safe for now. You were going on a streak earlier. You banned like 50 people. I don't know. Like 2
Guy with
hours.
mask says, "Who the
What?
car?"
Who the elevator is the car. What?
Elevator. Yeah, because the guy with mask said who the
Oh yeah,
car.
then. I will do. Okay, D. I know you really want to join. Sure, no problem. Let me check on how Axiom is
Yeah, because
doing.
some of my mods were like join me and still do modding.
We won't start without you. We won't.
Hey, no, you have another mod in chat, Nika.
Oh, is Nika there? Nika, you there?
Yeah, they said Daryl's. Don't worry, D. I'm here.
Oh, nice. And there you have it. Come on, hop on, D. Thanks, Nika. Nika gets to like
Is all
secure
your mod
all
from the
the
Philippines.
except Doki.
No.
They're all trigger happy
It's like
though.
right
Oh, yeah.
here.
I gave them the whole shoot to kill order. Set to stun? No,
The
no,
car
When
none
I,
of
is
that.
once I
edible.
see this, I'm like, ah, yes.
Yeah, let's wait for D to join. The car looks edible. I did not know you
I'm
had a
confused.
culinary inclination towards automobiles, but whatever floats your boat. Yeah, let's go here.
Let's read everything made by them. 12 player max. Use a normal sized avatar.
Yeah.
Use an avatar without emissions. Turn name tag.
Oh, unfortunately, that's
Too
kind
bad.
of yeah.
Hey, Gibus. It says here,
Yes,
use a humanoid avatar. Nah, you're a humanoid.
I'm humanoid. I walk on two legs and two
Oh,
arms.
there's Dazzy. There's Dazzy.
Also, I
Gotta show
did not
this
know.
Behind you.
Oh, okay. Oh no, yeah. Axiom has like internet like big problems. As convenient of an excuse as that sounds, but I will believe him. So it looks like it's just us.
Okay, okay.
All right.
No. Oh, there's another dragon there. They're small though. Tiny.
Why are you so small? You need to upscale, D. Come on, D. You gotta be taller.
Oh, give me a moment.
There we go. Okay. So let me just set up the
Ooh,
camera real well.
Aqua fins. You went
Okay.
to Ferality Aqua. It's so cute.
D and Potato,
So
you're
we're
both
going-
Pinoy. Tayo na pareho kayo may tite. You can talk to each other. What the fuck? Why are you so shy?
Is it
Chat, you
working?
didn't just hear me.
No.
Huh? Alright, chat, so... Alright, are we gonna go to the elevator? Let me just set up the camera real quick. Let's set it up here in front. Hopefully you can see all of us. Let's go. You know what? Oh, this is a perfect view. There we go. Okay, I'm gonna be in the corner, so...
Have you tried
yeah.
putting it like in world in the corner
World constraint? Oh, wait. I'm gonna
Yeah.
try.
before we start?
Anchor, world. Okay, let's see how that works. Unfortunately,
Yeah, world.
it can't see us wide, so we kind of have to huddle here if you guys want to be on camera. All right, who wants to press the elevator button?
Me
Okay, Potato's the brave one.
going up to the 10th floor.
Totally not the first one to die in movies.
I know, right?
It's usually always the one with like the little nudity scenes. Like they do it with the jock, and then they're the first ones to be they're the first one to be sliced. And there we go. Oh god.
Oh no,
Oh
I'm
no.
scared.
Oh,
I'm
eh?
scared. I'm scared.
Just gonna stay right here and not
Is that
move.
a game, Gib? Yes, yes, it is. And we're gone. We're dead. What? Oh my god. Okay, Anchor local. Hello? My camera. Hold up, my camera is being a little butt. Oh, there we go.
Oh my god.
Okay, this POV works. You know how my face looks anyway, so it's today it's about my friends. Ah, man. Oh no, this guy.
We're going to this.
Okay. Wait. Wait.
Wait, is it open?
Oh my god.
Disappeared. Oh my god.
Huh?
What happened? What?
What?
He gone.
What?
You did it teleported here. It teleported here.
Teleported
Here. Yeah. Near the elevator. I wonder what Geb looked like with first shader.
Fluffy and soft. Do I need to go there?
Soft
Maybe.
shadow.
Maybe?
Hello?
We're in the second floor.
There is nothing.
Did it crash?
I don't know.
We broke it.
I think we broke it. We are.
The mods broke it.
No, no. Oh.
No.
Oh, there you go.
Axiom's apologizing. Axiom, it's okay. We're gonna
It's
save
okay,
part 2 for
Dragon.
Axiom. 100% gonna save it for Axiom because I have never experienced it. I wanna experience it. Like super fresh.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna be here in the corner.
Adorable. I'm scared. Geb, I'm scared. Yeah.
Aw.
Kuya.
Kuya. Kuya, Geb.
Kuya,
Yeah.
good. Ah, no. I'm gone. All gone. It's just me. I'm closing my eyes. The funny thing is, more than half of my viewers are on Twitch. Oh god.
Oh my god.
Oh my god.
Yeah. Oh my god. Wait. Oh, it's a doggy. Oh no.
It's a doggy.
Let me out.
Oh.
No, not the dog! Not the dog! Not the dog!
Oh my my god.
Hmm. Oh no, when are they gonna make the whining too? I wanna say it. Okay.
Oh.
You should X your camera, close your camera so that people can see what you see.
Oh yeah, no, really? Won't they get dizzy? Can I like make it smooth? Teka.
No, sadly
No,
you
no.
can't.
Let me turn it off real quick. There we go. That's my POV. Yes, the game was paused. Ah. Huh? Oh shit! Really? Oh my god! Hello? Oh, it's moving. Yeah, no. Hmm. Yeah, that's definitely a body chat. Oh my god, the elevator shaking. Ah. Oh shit! Oh. So yeah, wait, yeah. No,
We lost 2.
we lost 2. That's the. Oh no, they died. What happened? They DC'd.
Huh?
Yeah, they DC'd. They left the instance. Disconnected. Oh no! Quick emergency McDonald's worlds. Oh, oh. No, I don't have McDonald's favorite. Wait.
There we
Wait.
go.
Wait. What is that? Oh no, it's a note. Oh, you see this chat? It's pitch black. No, why did I teleport here? Wait, no, where's the emergency McDonald's? This works. Oh. Quick. Hold on. Escape, quickly. Okay, DM Potato Fox. Of course, we're not gonna continue the map without you. Where is the emergency McDonald's? Apparently, I did not favorite the map. Ah, there we go. Okay, Dazzy would like to join you, yes. Potato Foxy would want to join you, yes. Camera mode stream. So currently we are here. Everything was just a bad story.
Did they DC or did they leave the instance?
No, I think they DC'd. Wait, what the hell is that? Oh no. What's that? Oh.
DC, yeah. Actually, DC.
Ah. Okay, this is a little better. Potato Fox. What is that? And why do you have a shovel?
Suddenly
Suddenly
stopped
crashed?
a while ago.
Yeah, it's okay. It's
Yeah.
like we left too. We didn't want to continue without. This is better. Now we're gonna be campfire chatting with friends. Yeah. What's going on?
Don't put out my fire.
She is getting cooked and she's eating fish. D is looking for beds. I don't know why. Hello, chat. What's this? Find the emergency McDonald's. This place seems okay.
Gabe, do you want some hot dog?
Oh my god. Nah, I am hungry, but not that hungry. Oh my god. Okay, maybe I want smoked sausages. Yeah, they're busy. Doc is getting like coconut. She's getting baked.
I wish.
Yeah, getting baked. Fuck.
Tell me, Gabe,
Oh my god. Yes, that's what I said.
do you love me?
Yeah, yes, I do.
Good, because if not, stabby, stabby.
Yeah, but you're not gonna stab me with a knife. It's with something else.
No, you're gonna stab me with something.
I'm the one who's gonna. Okay, okay, got it. I don't know what they're talking about, chat.
Camping in the desert.
Right? Okay, this a little hard to put in frame, but
With a burning dog.
yep. It's time for some music, okay. I'm sure I have one. Ba-ba-ba-ba.
Well, at least now you know there's like part 2, 10-4.
Yeah, definitely.
Hmm. Mm.
What time did you sleep, Potato?
Sleep was great.
No, I was asking what time you slept.
Oh. Alright. 1 a.m.
1 a.m. and then you woke up when stream started, I'm guessing. 9?
No,
Oh,
I woke
okay.
up 9.
So you have a whole day ahead of you. How about you, Dolphy and D?
I woke up when I got in chat.
Oh.
So like 5
Okay.
p.m.
Oh. Are you a night owl too?
Yes.
Fantastic. Look at D still moderating. Thank you. How do you do that? Do you look in between your nose like this and type? Oh. D, it's time for you to enact your powers. Somebody said skibidi in chat. Oh, Doc is just. If only she could. Somebody is like
Oh.
typing brain rot stuff. It's okay, it's okay. They've been dealt with.
Love it.
It's a good view like this. You know, this is the Final Fantasy thing. Where they have the campfire. You all look so cozy. Mhm.
Yeah, it is very cozy.
Except for that ominous rock over there. I still don't know what that is.
Oh, it's just a statue.
Really?
With symbols.
With symbol? That's not blood, right? From afar. Okay.
Come on.
It's red symbols.
Totally not the marker from Dead Space or anything. Is. Okay, guess we're back to a just chatting stream. Come on, we can't play horror without Axiom, right? We gotta get him in there. Blizzard says, "Man, I wish I could have friends like you." You know, I wish you could too, because I did not expect meeting so many lovely people when I started playing VR chat. It took a while. How many of you still have your first friends when you started playing VR chat?
My first friend was like a
Is it
kid
with
who
potato?
helped me. My first friend here in VR chat no longer plays, but he was a kid.
Huh?
But
Okay.
I was still starting out, and you know, when you first started, you were in that avatar world with
Yeah,
the
the
default avatar.
Avatar dynamics. That something. Yeah. Same.
And the one who taught me things here in VR chat was like a kid.
Funny enough, that's the same scenario as me. I see. And unfortunately, you don't play anymore, right? How long? Like,
Yeah.
when did you start playing VR chat?
2022.
Okay, so 2 years. How about you, D? It's span over to D.
Me?
Yeah,
What?
your first friends, and when did you start playing VR chat?
Oh, first friend? Never had a first friend.
Our first bunch of friends, you know, the first like, hey, VR chat's cool. Can I add you? That sort of deal.
Ooh. I don't remember.
You don't remember? Fantastic. Let's skip D.
Yeah.
Damn it, D. Oh, well, let's go over to our nice and cooking
Doki.
home, Doki.
My first friends were problematic.
In what way?
In the way that they really like to cause drama and they didn't like to look out for minors' safety.
Oh, okay, yeah, they know.
Oh.
Problematic. Okay.
Yes, problematic.
Okay,
and
then
I haven't been playing for that long.
really, when did you start?
I think maybe like, huh? Maybe like in 2020. Not too sure.
That's 4 years ago. These guys 2022.
Is
You
it?
played the longest,
What
yeah.
about you?
I started 3 months ago.
VR chat 3 months ago.
Yep.
Ooh.
Yeah, I'm new to VR chat.
Oh my god.
What, did you expect I was like an
And
old
you
timer
immediately
here?
bought
No.
a Quest Pro.
You
Yeah,
have
that's the whole
trusted
point.
user already.
What?
Yes.
No. No, it's known. But
Hanalin. Hanalin were from the
live on here.
Philippines. Only
No one-
Doki is from the USA.
yeah, I just play every now and then. Like maybe Potato lives here.
I used to live in VR. I used to
You used to
even
live.
sleep in
Did you
VR.
used to sleep in VR? Do you guys sleep in VR?
Yeah.
Once?
Especially during cuddle time. You
Oh,
don't
okay.
cuddle good.
What? No.
It's
Who says I don't?
uncomfortable.
Yeah. There we go. Better music.
Like cuddles I'm fine with, like in the movie world watching SpongeBob and I'm like zooted, but like falling asleep, I don't know.
Say, I physically can't. Not with the Quest Pro. The Quest Pro has a big bulge in the back strap because that's where the battery is. unfortunately.
Want some hot dog? I can see your hot dog. I can see your
Oh
hot
my god.
No.
But yeah, I started 3 months ago, and to answer my own question, as usual, it started out in the avatar like dynamics thing. Tried some avatars. I tried that axolotl girl with the pink hoodie, and then I was mesmerized because I could see my hands in VR for the first time. And then I kind of transitioned to making my own avatar. After that, it's like, hey, I want to make something from scratch. Have you seen that, Doki?
What?
My first
Wow.
super janky avatar. Yeah, let me load it in.
Not in person, I don't think so.
my first avatar was a dogkin. I thought it was a fox, but it was a dogkin.
Here, let me change into it. This is the one I made from scratch. This was in Blender. I had like
Oh, this one.
this one, yeah. I had like 4 weeks
Yeah.
worth of YouTube tutorials, and I said, you know, I want to make something like a Tim Burton-esque ish thing with face tracking. So yeah, guys, if you're asking if you can make VR chat models if it's easy, it's not easy at all. I kind of gave up halfway through and just ended up being the form you all know and love.
How come your other ear doesn't have physics?
Shh, we don't talk about that. Why am I not swapping back? There we go.
You're
And then
stuck in
there's me.
OG form.
Yeah, the Gib old model. What were your first models, guys? I am curious.
Dogkin.
The dogkin? What's that? Do you still have it?
No, not anymore.
Oh no, why don't you should save that. That's like, you know, like for sentimental reasons.
If it doesn't crash me, I'll show you guys right now.
All right.
Oh, because back then I didn't know, like, I thought.
Ooh, wow, my this is loaded. That's a Nardo.
Yeah,
That's cute. Let's just zoom in. This is Doki's
Shiny.
first form. Yeah, I really like the hair.
I didn't make it. It was a gift.
Even as the heart, like ahoge going on.
She has wings. Hold on.
Okay, this is a good POV. There we go. Nah, I think this is better.
Oh, there we go.
Huge wings.
Oh, it's getting morning here.
Really?
Wait.
No,
Oh,
no,
not
there's
really.
no.
If you open it, it looks like it's more. It's like,
What do you mean? Open one.
yeah. Open your menu into the big screen. Looks like, yeah.
What are you talking about? Did you eat a bad sausage or something?
No, for me, if I open my menu and turn it into big screen, everything like
I'm doing it.
The space, the sky looks like it's getting into like a morning time. Seriously, I'm not
That's
crazy.
cute. I like that. No, I didn't say you're crazy. You're special.
I'm not crazy.
Special. So what am I listening to? Wait. This has to be like the... Where is that playlist of mine? 1 second.
It is time.
Oh my god, it's on loop. Ah, there we go.
Crash.
No, don't crash. Don't crash. There we go. A little more melancholic music. Yes, the music I was playing wasn't the app. The Ching Chong Hanji. This is better. This is from the Genshin Impact OST. I really liked it. Oh, hello, Nova guy, Nova Core, and Doki Crash. There we go. Can I? Yeah. Did you know before I started? No, my first few streams in VR chat, I was in this map called the Lonely Island. I don't know if you've been there. Lovely place. Perfect time for nighttime. Unfortunately, I can't bring D there. It's a PC only world.
Oh,
No.
it's alright.
Yeah, you're gonna get a GPU soon, though. It was just me for like 5 or 6 hours by a campfire, talking with chat, and had like sad music on. Yeah. When you started streaming, Foxy? What was your like? When was it first? How?
I started
long?
streaming on public Black Hat.
Oh my God! Really?
Yeah, but for some reason, I did it like for like several months. I didn't get like everyone was very respectful. Like, oh, you're streaming? Oh my God, yeah! And they followed me. They were very fun to hang out with. Everyone was very respectful. This was before the EAC thing, the easy anti-cheat.
Oh,
before
the
they put
patch. Yeah, that
Yeah.
patch.
Yeah. Then after that, a lot of my friends like didn't play anymore because no mods, no stuff. Yeah.
There we go. Infra. I see. So you've been streaming what? 2 years ago? 1 year? No, EAC. That was
No,
long ago.
No, actually, I started streaming like so back in 2022. That was my 3 years of stream. Yeah, because that's when I first started VR chat. So I used to like stream on Twitch, just desktop games. But
You're like okay, I got it. So even before VR chat, so you used to be on
yeah,
Twitch,
and then only on Twitch.
and then you transitioned to TikTok when you embodied the persona.
No, because I used to like invite people from my Twitch chat.
Mm.
And they crush me. Like they even pretended to be a furry, so they could join me, and they used an NSFW crashing avatar.
Oh man.
So I got suspended for a week on Twitch.
So they got you into
That's
trouble.
when So I tried TikTok stream.
Nasty. I see. So have you given up on Twitch completely? Or do you have plans on going back?
I'm streaming on Duel like you.
Oh, you
When
are?
I
Okay,
stream.
okay.
Yeah.
Am I following you on Twitch? I didn't know that. I thought you were like on TikTok only.
Nah. My Twitch is like Potato Foxy VR. VR.
Are you following me so I can follow you back? Like I'll just click your username
Yeah,
and my
I follow
notifications.
you.
Really? Okay, I didn't know. I need to
Yeah.
check it out.
Remember, I chat in your Twitch.
Yeah, but I'm super faulty in my memory. Let me see. How long ago was this? He like long. Astrofloof, shout out to you for giving me the virality ticket. What else? 7 days ago, it's Plexus. Potato Foxy VR followed you 8 days ago. There we go. Let's follow you. How could I not? Okay. So yeah, how was your first few streams on TikTok like? Also, welcome back, Doki. Like, did you jump straight into the
Good.
content you were making right now, or was it themed differently?
It was different. It was very. TikTok stream was very weird because there's a lot of people, super fast chat, and incomplete sentences, wrong grammar.
That sort. Well, what's new? That's why we have mods like Doki over here.
And they keep asking me, "Are you furry? Are you in VR? What game is that?"
Mm-hmm.
Like, so, yeah, kind of weird.
You like the vibe, huh, Gail? Yeah, this is actually my favorite sort of content to make. Chatting and storytelling. I can't do the hot tub streams. So I'm amazed you guys have the charisma to do that.
You're still new, don't worry.
Yeah,
When I first started VR chat, when I first started VR chat stream, I wasn't even like very sussy.
Is that the term?
Yeah.
Very sussy.
I didn't even realize. I didn't even realize when did I become like such a sussy streamer.
So you're kind of saying that I'm gonna end there inevitably.
Maybe, I don't know. Maybe
Who
you'll be
knows?
more comfortable doing those kind of things. Yeah.
Okay, so it's just a matter of time, chat. I see.
You never know.
Never know. VR chat has a way of making you
Opening
really
things up for us.
malleable and opening you up to things. I guess it's the whole non-human interface of the avatar. Like, I'm not talking to like human beings. That's why it doesn't feel strange. You know what I mean?
We're like AIs.
Yeah, you know, right? Right?
I'm
It's just
artificial.
what's going on? Well, we're just chatting. Unfortunately, one of our friends, Axiom, was having problems with their internet. We were supposed to play horror, and we just decided to get together in a campfire and talk instead.
It might have been VR chat because our pings were really high.
Smash.
Wait, Doki, you stream
Smash
too, right?
potato.
I used to. I'm like slowly building up to it again.
Yeah, because you have VT in your name, so I assumed
Yeah.
you were still active
Hiatus
VTubing.
for now.
Hiatus, okay.
Like back then, I used like to stream like 8 hours, 12 hours, even 24 hours without any reason. But
24 hours, okay.
yeah, after a few months, my maximum is like 4 hours. Sometimes I go way beyond if having fun and not tired.
Okay, then
VR
wow.
chat is so very exhausting. One of my friends, when they were new to streaming, they said that because before they started streaming, they see me and my other friends streaming, and they said, "Ooh, it looks so easy." And then when they started, it was like, "Ah, only 3 hours of streaming. I'm more exhausted than working 8
hours on an actual job. Okay, kind of understandable.
They found out it was very exhausting.
Yeah, it kinda.
So why did you start
Yes.
streaming?
Honestly, two reasons. One, to look for friends. Two, to face my fears head on. I actually have pretty crippling social anxiety. I feel strangulated. Like yeah, that one. So I said, you know what, I just face it head on. Seems to be working
I
great.
started before I start streaming, I was like very quiet, like
Mm,
introvert. Like yeah,
mm,
introvert. I don't interact with people unless they interact with me, and even when they interact with me, I was I only give them like one word, or like the maximum is like 3 words.
yeah,
Then I started streaming and I became more comfortable
3
speaking. Even IRL.
hi, hello,
It
and
helps
goodbye.
IRL too. It helps
That's
IRL
true.
too. And also VR chat. So you know how like we for like keep wants to boop like everyone, right? So I got so used to it. I almost booped my dad.
You almost boop your dad.
Yeah.
Oh my god. Yes, D,
And
I'm
my
gonna
dad is
drink coffee.
Chinese, like traditional Chinese.
Oh
so...
my, that's the worst. Oh no. Like an old school
Yeah,
Chinese.
Yeah.
Oh,
so my
no.
dad is like a really serious person. And
Yeah,
workaholic.
straight laced. Yeah, very straight laced
Yeah.
people.
He knows that I'm gay, but he just like he keeps telling me that you're a man. You should act like one. You okay?
Yeah, I'm just in my Spotify. Hold on. I'm listening to your story, okay? If I'm like this, like my hands are out, I'm usually like managing like something off VR.
Ah.
No, where is it? Where's the feel? Right off the bat, guys, I gotta
Okay.
ask. How are you with dealing with a rather physical nature of interaction between friends and heck, even strangers here in VR chat? So we can see there's the boops and the whole ear touching and everything, the hugs.
It's good, but some people are like have very sensitive phantom sense.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. It's very good, but I always ask. Usually.
Usually. So consent. Okay, I see.
Yeah.
It's dangerous.
Yeah.
Lasagna sa mid-camp,
Like
yeah.
I'm super shy and introverted IRL. Like even when I go to the mall, like if I want to ask direction to the guard, if I see
Really?
the guard like doing something in their walkie-talkies, I wouldn't ask them. Like I will wait until they're not doing anything.
Oh,
Because
man, jeez. Okay.
even in the restaurant, I couldn't ask for a spoon and fork in a Chinese restaurant.
No, no way. You stream in such
Because-
skimpy
because I'm-
outfits, and you. Okay, that's cute. So there's the
because I see them doing something and they're busy like talking to another waiter or waitress.
yeah.
Like-
I mean,
Ask them because they're doing something.
is it still true until now?
Yeah.
Really?
Like
So if,
I'm a very shy person IRL.
even with friends.
It lessened though. It lessened. Friends, if I know them like for a long time, I'm very comfortable. Like, yeah. But I'm still not talkative. I'm not good at making conversation.
Same. I know I'm not good at conversation, and I know there's no conversation gonna happen. So I just start a conversation regardless. Like, okay, fine, I'll be the one to do it. Oh, but D and Doki, if you guys have something to share, I'm sorry if I'm like running my mouth. Okay.
I am happily listening.
Okay, all right. That's true. Perfectly valid. Yes, look at TikTok chat, just having free reign, running free with no mods to smite them.
Wasn't Mika supposed to be in there?
I don't know. I think Nika's busy. Earlier she was working out. Now I'm not sure. What am I looking at? You are looking at 4 friends just chatting by a campfire in VR.
Yeah. Or friends or furries. Furries are friends.
What he said. Like for me, it's not really the
Maybe
form of the person, it's like their personality that matters. Their personality and their like personal morals, you know what I mean?
Maybe they're just hungry, you know? Maybe they're just hungry. They need hot dog.
They need the sausage. Oh. Oh man.
Yeah, D is moderating.
Thank you,
Are you using
D.
your phone? I can
Yes,
also
that's
moderate
right.
because I have wireless keyboard so I can see it.
Okay. Nah, it's okay. You have your hands full with your own channel. That's cool.
But we have different timed streaming.
Yeah, what's your
Yeah,
schedule
look
usually?
it up for super. I usually stream at 7 p.m.
Oh, nighttime.
Yeah, I only stream like once a day. 4
Yes.
hours.
And it's just chatting streams like these, right?
Yeah. Yeah, chatting, playing games. You know.
And you always have guests, I assume.
Yep. I do. Ooh, is that corn dog? It's chicken legs. I want some corn dog.
I know, I want a quick warm snack to eat right now. Siopao, corn dog, hectic. A rice bowl, braised beef, shawarma. Oh man.
Oh, shawarma.
Shawarma. Yeah, there's the sweet shawarma with the garlic sauce.
Yeah.
Oh
Yeah,
boy.
Shawarma. You can only taste VR food.
I don't think people would ever leave.
If the imagine. That's the solution to world hunger. It's just virtual food.
3D became
but
4D.
but
Yeah.
you can only taste it, not actually like it cannot
And it-
feel you. It's like
and-
Sword Art Online.
Yeah. No, you have like a nutrition paste that's bland that you eat along with it. Like it feeds into you somehow.
Yeah.
And then you just eat the VR food.
So you watch anime? Like what kind of anime do you watch? I know you watch it. Like
On the top
everyone
of my
watches it.
head, it's either funny stuff like Konosuba or like Overly Cautious
It's really
Hero.
funny.
Yeah, Konosuba. I love Konosuba. Or my personal favorite is on the top. It's Made in Abyss.
Oh.
Made in Abyss, the
I've
it's
yet
just
to watch that one.
oh, trust me when I say it's
you
got
should,
so
you
much
should,
soul
you should
in it.
watch this. You should watch this Korean anime, like in
Which
Netflix. Lookism. Lookism.
Lokism, like
They-
Loki or Looki? Lookism.
Lookism.
Did it come from like a
It's about,
webtoon?
yeah, it's about you know, looks. Like you get more privilege if you have good looks.
I think I read that. I think I've read that before.
Lookism.
Yeah.
Yeah, lookism. Yeah, lookism.
Axiom, internet,
It's very
not
good.
internet.
It's very good.
Oh, I will.
Or if you want to watch another like Sword Art Online, you should look up Axel World or
That's
and,
old. Oh my
Lag
god.
Horizon. Lag Horizon.
I watched Lag Horizon. I don't know what happened on season 2. Why did the art style change so much? I think they changed studios. I really love the first season.
Yeah. Or Overlord. Overlord is good too.
I watched
I'm waiting
Overlord,
for
I watched
another
Overlord.
season of Overlord.
I watched Overlord. Internet, not inter.
It's okay.
Axiom's
Axiom.
apologizing. No, it's okay. Hey, we didn't like push through with the elevator because they disconnected too. We won't do horror unless you're there.
Axiom, join us again so that we can continue.
Yes. Hi, Aki. Yeah. Cool that there's a party now, huh?
Meow. Meow.
You know, this is the fun thing about VR chat and VTubing in parallel because I don't think live 2D VTubers can't do this. It's because yeah, sure you have a very pretty model. Salute like to all the models that like the riggers and like the model makers. But being able to bring your model into 3D space and being your character and interacting with your other friends, it's a magical experience. I think we take for granted.
I know,
Think about it. It's it's so cool. Yes, chat is requesting to touch my ears. See? Can you do that? I started as live 2D. Yes, I did make it as well. I tried streaming for a very short bit mid last year. And then I just kind of stopped. I bought the Quest Pro after, didn't use it for a few months. Started again this February, and here we are.
My first VR was Quest 2. Yeah.
Okay.
Then change it to Index after 2 weeks.
I want the index controllers really after 2 weeks. Meanwhile, D, stuck in Quest, getting his GPU soon. You get it soon, okay?
So like the Quest Pro has like eye and face tracking. No added accessories.
No, that's the convenient thing about it. Considering it.
Maybe I am actually, but maybe I'll just wait for next year. I'll see what new VR
Wait for the new
what
tech.
came out
Wait
next
for
year.
the new tech. It's not worth it
Yeah.
at this point. Yeah. Same here. Like if like the deck card or whatever new VR pops up, that's nice. I'm gonna be like you and buy it and put this up for sale really cheap. Who knows? Maybe D will want to buy it. Sell my Quest Pro for 20K. What do you know? That's $400.
20K? How much did you bought it for?
An extra $1,000. Like $1,400.
Ooh. So that it's like one
Full price, like 74K, I think. When I got it. I understand how quick tech depreciates in price, so I'm not really gonna sell this at like super expensive. You know.
Maybe like sell it like 800, because the face and eye
800
tracking
pesos.
is like
800 what? Oh yeah, yeah.
And
Just kidding.
$800, $800,000.
Here's the funny thing: you can
$800.
buy a brand new one for half the price. The price dropped so much. I'm not kidding. It's at 45 right now. So selling it at 25K is pretty much the ballpark figure I'm gonna post it in.
Quest Pro is only 45,000.
Yes, it went down. There was a price drop from Meta.
Where did you buy it?
Locally.
Really? They sell
Yeah.
Quest Pro locally?
Yeah.
Because I
yeah.
know they only because I know they only I look for Quest Pro here, but
Go to
they only
the
have Quest 2.
Meta Quest Philippines, the Facebook group.
Oh, okay. Can you like share that to me?
Now, young, I thought you're gonna wait for a new headset. What happened?
Then I'll collect more.
Go-
What?
But yeah, last time I checked, a brand new one clearing their stock was like 45 or 48.
Okay, my monthly salary is like 1,000.
Okay, Dad. By all means, you go buy it then.
Born wealthy.
Unfortunately, I do not have the trust fund baby buff on myself.
Hey, I work.
How about you share
Work
some
from
of that
home.
wealth by buying me some, like, see that thing? I have a water fund goal above.
Wait, do you have a throne wish list?
Oh yeah, you're right. I don't.
You should.
Surprise, that's like a streamer thing.
Yeah.
You're right. That never
Like-
crossed my mind. Huh?
I
Wait.
even have one and I'm on hiatus.
Really?
Yeah, people can like crowdfund your like you just put the things that you want from Amazon, like so Amazon. But from Throne, but for us in the Philippines, even if we put it on Throne, even if they bought it, we won't receive it. We only receive the money, so we buy it ourselves because Throne doesn't like deliver
Is
it
that
through the
how it
Philippines.
is? I did
For
not
us
know.
in the Philippines.
That's convenient. That's convenient. Instead of like getting it
For
straight
us
in
in the
here, you
Philippines.
change your mind.
So, Throne will convert those gifts into money, and we just withdraw the money and we buy it from the Amazon because that's how we. Throne doesn't do Philippines, like deliver it through the Philippines.
Oh my
So they
god! You're,
convert it to money, and we withdraw it.
is it easy to set up? I'm gonna set it up after stream. I'm gonna put a bunch of survival gear on it. Keep Geb alive fun. Because I ride the motorcycle a lot.
You can do like crowdfunding. You can choose it like one payment, or they can do crowdfunding. So crowdfunding is like everyone can donate like one if the item is like $50. Everyone can donate
Everybody can
until
pool.
like it turns in yeah.
Thank you for
But
the
the
tip.
crowdfund is like you can't withdraw the money until it's like
It's
full.
fully funded. Okay.
yeah.
That's super cool. Okay. What's on your
I
throne
thought you
wish
only
list?
have like 20 minutes left.
I don't know.
My
It
throne
started
wish
getting
list?
cozy here. Yeah.
I forgot what my throne wish list is. It's more like someone gifted me candies, like those airheads.
Oh, the super sour ones.
Yeah, like airheads, like a box of airheads because I put it there, and lip motion. Someone gifted me lip motion.
Oh man, I have to buy
Yeah,
mine. The
and,
lip motion.
someone- And then
Okay.
someone gifted me you know those Pushin Cat?
Yeah,
Cat, like
Pushin. Yeah, the
emotes
gray,
Pushin
gray
Cat.
one. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a Pushin.
Yeah, I put it there like with the one eating pizza.
Ah, that's cute. Oh man.
But my lip motion is for my brother took it. I only got to try it like once, not on stream. My brother took it because he's also a streamer, but he doesn't
Mm.
tell me what his username is.
What?
And
No.
because he lives so far away from me, that I couldn't visit for a few months, and then once I got there, he broke it.
No. Oh man. How can you break the leap motion? Is it the leap
He
motion
broke it,
too?
So he every time he stopped streaming, he said that he accidentally like there's a Coke. It's very sticky. Smell like
No
Coke.
cola. Oh god.
I hate it. It's a gift from my close friends too
Yeah.
that I
It's
met in VR.
it's not cheap. It's like $130.
Yeah, I know.
Make them pay you back.
Yeah, they can pay you
my
back.
family is like very cheap. My family is very
Wealthy.
Nah, no. So
Don't believe it.
very cheap. Yeah, very cheap. It's like they don't pay what they broke. They don't pay me back.
Okay.
Yeah, and they consider me the black sheep. Black sheep
black
of the
sheep?
family. Yeah.
That's- So they just give you
Yeah.
money and you stay away from the family to not besmirch their name.
Hey, I still no. I work from the family. My
Oh,
dad has
okay.
like high expectation. My dad has like high expectation of me, so it's kind of like annoying.
How
sometimes
every
because I have an older
Chinese
brother, but
business
I got-
family is, yeah.
Yeah. I have an older brother, but all the expectation was on me.
Oh dear.
I'm the third one. I'm the middle child. I'm the middle son.
Do you like own SM or something?
No.
It's okay. Nah. Thank you so much. You don't have to give me gifts. It's okay. Even though we only have 13
I'll give you XS overlay.
Yeah, I'd appreciate that. Tools. I don't. Wait, is it? How much is it? Like $5
On Steam.
I don't know how much it is.
Mm,
That's why I'm wondering when you say give, like that's obviously not free. So don't
can
tell me.
check
Don't
how
tell me.
much is
Don't
it.
tell me. I'm not gonna check either. I'm just gonna give you my like super gratitude.
Oh, it's very cheap. Like $5. Oh, I told you.
Oh. okay. What? Wait. What am I using?
You're using OVR toolkit.
No, really? No. Or have I been calling it wrong? Hold on. I'm going. Oh yeah, this OVR toolkit. OVR advanced settings. I'm sorry, that's what it's called. Yeah, OVR advanced settings.
No, overall toolkit. OVR
No, not-
advanced settings is the play space thing.
Yeah, that's what's running on my. I guess it's
No,
OVR
there's, like,
toolkit.
over-
Yeah. You're
Yeah,
right.
there's,
You're
like,
right. You're
OVR
right.
toolkit, OVR advanced.
Okay, I don't have the XSO thing. What will the XSO overlay replace?
Hmm. Nothing.
Okay, D,
It will
good
just
luck with the
replace your
volleyball.
OVR toolkit. Yeah.
So do I
instead of you
uninstall
using,
OVR toolkit?
No, you can just like live there. You don't need to open it. You don't have to uninstall it.
Okay. Ah, yes, the campfire. This is giving them a panning shot. I think it's just us in chat. That's okay.
Geb and the Gebus.
Hmm?
Gebus and the Gebusis.
Gibussies. That sounds terrible. Gibussies.
Because it is.
Oh my god. If you type that in chat, like Doki's gonna just knowing her. Groot. There was one chatter earlier saying, "Hi, I'm back, band." Like, oh my god, they don't even know who they are. I don't know. That wasn't you. I think that was Nika or D.
Yeah.
The Nika's just being competitive. So she's just starting to ban random people. Like, Nika, what are you doing?
Just a random bypasser.
Yeah, random, bystander. Hi, I'm back. Nope. Oh my god. Yeah.
So when are you gonna buy trackers? Like legit trackers.
Slimes are
I mean,
legit, right?
like yeah. I mean, sorry about my wording. I mean, like Vibe
Wow.
or Tundra.
Slime people, you hear that? Discriminatory judging.
Hey, I'm
Cancel him on Twitter.
You hear that?
sorry.
She said, when are you gonna stop being poor?
What? Oh, that's worse. You're right. That's right. I am so sorry. I'm an impoverished streamer.
Hey, lies.
Oh my god. I thought we were starting to hit it off. Sheesh.
I thought this was a safe space.
Sheesh. What?
Did someone like in your chat like tells you like how much you earn in your stream?
Like, ask me? Yeah, I don't answer
Yeah.
them. You don't go to McDonald's and ask
Yeah,
how
I
much
know,
the
right?
store made. Like people, I think they have not been taught the etiquette that should be followed like commonly, not even online, like in any place.
Right?
Yeah. How old are you? Where's your real face? Where do you live exactly? And how much do you earn? Like, are you profiling me
Can
for
we
a
see
co-
your
Yeah, can you see? Can I see your apartment? Like, okay.
Where in the Philippines do you
Means, yeah, where in the
live?
Philippines do you live? Like, okay. But back to
Maybe
your
I-
question.
I just always tell them that I live on an island.
Yeah, we do live on an island. I don't know. Maybe when new tech comes out, I wanted the Vive Ultimates. I want the wireless ones, but my room unfortunately does not allow a lighthouse setup because it has weird verticality. Half of my room is a loft bed because it's a small space, so I can't put it in like 4 corners.
Oh.
Yeah, unless and the base stations are really pricey. How much is one?
Like 15.
15,000 each.
Yeah.
So that's more expensive than all of my slimes. See? Maybe when I get.
I need to buy one more. Yeah.
Oh my god! How many do you have?
I only have 2.
So a 3 setup. Okay. I do want it. Honestly, it's just
yeah.
the price gap is
Very
just
expensive.
enormous compared to like a set of slimes to like getting like full high fidelity tracking with Vives.
What you should do is like GoFundMe. Not kidding.
Go fun. Get Gebus proper trackers.
That or just Throne.
Yeah, or Throne. Yeah.
That's smart. That's what I'm gonna put on my throne. Smart.
Anything you want from any website, Throne, you can just do that.
Yeah,
Let's
and
do
then
it.
we'll just convert it to cash.
Maybe
and
I
you
can.
withdraw it.
I can make it work. 1, 2. I don't know though. There's gonna be still blind spot. I need like 5 base stations. That's weird. Imagine my room. Imagine being under scaffolding. That's my room. So there's like weird steel bars like that will like gives blind spots.
Uh,
5 ultimates or the 3.0s?
I don't know much about Vive Ultimate. Is that a wireless?
Yeah, it's like the premium slimes
The
because it has cameras in it.
you mean like the? Oh, I heard about. You mean the newest Vive? Oh, I heard about not good things about those because it's less like it drains battery faster.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, because you don't need base stations anymore with those Vive, but
Yeah,
it drains
yeah.
a lot more power. It drains a lot faster. So yeah. It's like
Nice.
it's like slime, yeah. You don't need base stations and stuff, but
Mhm.
because the newest Vive has their own base station, like inside of them. So yeah.
Yeah, they're wireless IMUs with cameras.
Yeah.
2 dergs and a dog. Ita. Pretty much, chat.
What does a furry want? Cuddles and snuggles.
Money.
Companionship. Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay. No, I'm kidding. Money. The money's always
Furball?
no. We don't want to say that on stream because you're gonna think I'm like, hey, you just
I'm
stream to get
honest.
my money. That's true. That's true. That's true. Shh. That would be my answer too. Ah. What headset are you using, Doki? Like, what's your usual
Quest
hardware?
2.
The hardware setup. Quest 2, and then your trackers are.
I don't have trackers. I'm in half body. I just have the
Oh,
quest link
I-
and then into my
Okay.
laptop. Yeah.
Okay. I thought when you said like I'm in half body right now, like what I'm doing, I'm not wearing my trackers because I'm doing just
No, I don't
chatting
have
streams.
trackers.
Okay. Do you plan on getting some? Or is it go loco more
Soon,
than
probably.
enough? See, the vibes are expensive. The barrier for entry is kind of high.
I know. Especially for us in Asia because of the shipping.
Oh god, right? Yeah, the other reason why I got slimes is because the guy lives like 10 minutes away from I do, who makes it. So if I have like troubles with parts or whatnot, it's just, hey man, can you send it to me? Yeah, sure, I'll grab it to you. And it's on its way. It's 5 minutes away.
Like it's so lucky, like you got your slime like easily. One of my friends
Yeah,
like
yeah,
ordered
yeah.
from the
That's
from
why.
the, like the store
Oh
itself. Like
god, the 2
from the
years waiting
site?
time. Yeah,
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 like,
don't.
They keep
Just buy
saying they keep saying,
DIYs.
oh, it's almost the deadline, the due date to like ship your like getting your slime, and then they're gonna extend it more because it needs more calibrating and stuff.
Yeah, it's forever. That's why I just said, you know what? I want my DIYs. Like, there's like a on the Discord. There's a marketplace for official like DIY slimes, and luckily enough, there was a local seller. Hey, you're pretty close. That's my route home whenever I go run like my motorcycle errands. It's cheap too. I got like 11 I don't know how many pieces I have, like 11. Because I have on my arms too that I don't wear. It's like what? Like 14k?
I can't wait to have base and eye tracking. Maybe on December.
Now you want the... I should have shut my mouth about the price drop on the Quest.
No, because on December, you know, the 13th month thing here in the Philippines.
Yeah, that's true. That's true, mang.
Yeah, like twice the salary.
Manglibre ka naman. Manglibre ka naman.
Saan gusto mo? Boracay?
Boracay. Puta,
Aman
you're
po.
that rich, friend? Oh my God. Tara, Bora
Aman po.
tayo. Ako na bahala sa'yo. Basta shave ka, ha?
Yeah, ganun naman talaga. Ganun naman.
Shave ka!
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, one time I even like paid for my friends like last year of college.
What? You paid for a tuition fee? Okay, that's the next level of support. They're probably
Yeah,
gonna
kasi
owe you
last
for
year
life.
niya, hindi afford ng parents niya kasi yun. Last year na din yun, so why not? It's like the last year of of their term so that we can graduate together.
Jeez. I don't know if that's a big flex or you're just a really good Samaritan. I think it's both.
Both.
It's both.
I want to boast, but I also want to help.
Yeah, just don't ask questions, darling.
But more
Just
help.
slide
But
money.
more help, yeah.
Yeah, more help.
More help,
Sure. Okay. Wait, speaking of help, where did you post your throne? Like, I know you can't like post links on TikTok, like your profile, right? Like, how
Yeah,
do you
I
make
post it on
people see
Twitch.
it? On
You can
Twitch.
so you can use your what do you use on Twitch, like Stream Elements?
Yeah, Stream Elements.
So you can use timer in Stream Elements. There's like timer.
Timer?
So you can type your message there and post your link, and then every few minutes it depends,
the bot, like
Yeah.
Nightbot. Yeah, I
Yeah.
remember.
Yeah. So
That's
there's
true.
like timer. So put your message and then
Don't forget
every
to
few
this and that.
minutes,
Yeah. I should set that
Yeah.
up. Smart. Yeah, that's true.
For me, I post like pull some
Echoing,
codes
sorry.
and my links. Pull some
Okay.
codes and my links. Yeah. And the fun fact of potatoes. Yeah, I post that too. Like fun fact about potatoes. Do you know that potatoes have more fiber? have more potassium than bananas?
No, I know they're poisonous though. I still like potatoes. I love French fries.
Yeah. We have potatoes have more potassium than bananas.
I did not know that. Oh, who's Hey, it's Misty. What's up?
Misty, the fucking
Mecca would
canine?
want to join you. All right. Hey, you
Misty, the
dancing?
fucking canine.
You Misty, your friend here. Oh, looks like we're gonna have an Australian friend of mine join, Mechatronic Dragon. He is my workout buddy in Soaring Fitness. That mofo bought me cake on my birthday, says Misty.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I bought Misty on the cake on her birthday. Surprise!
Really?
From Contis.
Contis? Oh my god, okay. Kayo na. Puta. Yung cake ko, like red ribbon, Goldilocks shit. And then, my birthday was from
Yeah,
Boulangerie though. Yeah.
No, I know Misty's address. Do
You
wanna
know Mrs. Alice? Yeah,
Not
sure.
kidding.
Joke lang. We're just joking, Misty. We're not gonna disclose any personal info. Don't worry. You know, funny enough, there's so much like Discord friends that know where I live or where I am because like, hey, hey, Mecha, guys, I want you to meet Mechatronic Dragon.
Wait, you're streaming? Oh, sorry.
Yeah, no, sit. It's cool. It's cool.
Okay.
Yeah, take a seat right there. You're too far. You can sit next to Doki.
Okay.
I don't bite. I promise.
Oh, we can actually stand on these. Okay, here. I'll actually like.
It is a play
We're gonna be
space.
we're, I
Hello.
guess we're gonna be all Nova.
How you all doing?
We're
Going back to
good.
Novus?
We're just actually
I'm
chatting
good
right
here.
now.
Gotcha.
Guys, this is Mecha. If you catch us in Soaring Fitness, he's my workout buddy. Mechatronic. My tongue is dry. I need to drink.
It's fine.
But
Just
yeah.
call me Becca. It's easy.
Yeah, super fun guy. Just
Drink water.
radiates positivity.
Drink water.
I'm drinking water right now.
You're breathtaking. You're all breathtaking. And you're,
You're
breathtaking.
breathtaking.
Our workouts are breathtaking. God damn. The planks.
Yeah,
Oh
quite
god.
literally. Whew.
I don't know how you're able to dance right after like the sessions. You have so much
I just did
energy.
a 2-hour dance session. You want to dance? We can go.
No, I can't. I tried. It was terrible.
Oh, dude.
Mechatronic looks familiar. Mech actually has a YouTube channel and a Twitch.
Maybe.
And I super duper love their little silly drawings on their YouTube videos. It's super cute. But yeah, main content is dancing, right? Dancing, a bit of like casual games.
Definitely dancing.
Yeah, Mecha, this is Potato Foxy. A big time super duper popular. They stream.
How
on
dare you
Twitch.
use that word?
They stream on
How dare
Twitch.
you use that word?
He's also probably my neighbor, same country. And then this is Doki, my
Yeah.
silent
okay.
but deadly
Hello.
super mod on TikTok. She just bans people without like
Misty.
hesitation.
Misty, Gabus bully me by using that word.
I don't know. You guys taught me the term, the popular. I thought it was pop fur at first, like pop fur. Okay, and it's popular. Yeah, this guy's pop fur.
No, Misty is the puppy fur. Like Misty has like really puppy fur.
Yeah, I know. I
Yeah.
checked their Twitch channel. Like, oh dear, I didn't know they had that much followers. Misty, thank you for gracing my stream with your presence.
Yeah.
Mecha
you don't
sounds
even
like
know that I'm. You don't even know
He's
that
from
I'm
Eastern
a
Australia. no. You're on TikTok.
Actually,
You're...
well done. Actually.
Yeah, Mecha. See, I think it's coming out. It's coming out. Do it, Chad. Coax the crikey out of it.
Misty is more puppy fur than me.
Really?
So
No.
use that word on Misty.
Oh, I'll use it on Misty though.
Should we all?
Yeah.
use it?
Yeah. Actually, you guys are like much bigger than I am. I'm like a newbie streamer. So.
You're a newbie.
Yeah. I'm super glad we can be
Misty is
friends though.
I'm Misty's inspiration to stream.
Oh my. Yeah, pretty much. Okay, Misty, just confirm. I know Mecha can work out where I am by one phrase. Okay, Suti, what is the phrase?
Huh.
Alright, let's wait. Let's wait on our chatter. Come on, Suti.
I hope I can, otherwise that would be embarrassing.
No, don't be embarrassed. You record yourself dancing, Mecha.
Well, he is.
Well, while we're waiting on Suti, let's read what else chat has to say. Hiya, Cameron. Rather colorful cast we have in your screen, right? Gago, ang dami na nila. Yeah, I know.
We're all Novas.
We're all Novas at the moment.
This is the actual Nova meetup.
Yeah, this is the actual
Have any?
What happened?
main. That's...
You don't have much fur.
I don't need that.
That was an accident.
Gets in the way.
I did not mean
Whoops.
to sit on you.
Whoops.
I'm just sitting on the chairs.
Whoops. Mecha's so cute, right? It's nonchalantly cute.
I don't have an Uno reverse card. Help.
Right. In the gym, last time we were working out, it was this Thursday, Friday our time. You will be surprised with one of the gym goers being vocal about calling you like a true-blooded Australian or something. Going with
the
the
proper giggle they were.
right with the vocabulary.
Ooh, heavy accents.
Yeah, it's cool. It's right. I wish I had such an identifiable vocabulary and accent as well. I miss Steve
You
Irwin
don't.
all of a sudden. Oh,
You don't?
You don't?
do I? No, I don't. No. You listen to me. They don't know the accent. They listen to like Mecha. Imagine it, immediately it's like Crocodile Dundee or Steve Irwin, and right. He's like the perfect
Mate.
amalgamation of every like Aussie guy wearing that cowboy looking hat with the big like knife, and he talks about dingoes and stuff.
Aussie.
Yeah.
It's just because I say crikey unintentionally. It's instinctual at this point.
Do you wear like shorts when you go out and you drive an oot?
I feel like I'm called out.
See? Oh my god. Guys, si Optimum
Beating
Prime.
Aussie allegations.
Right? We just chat while in the pickup and everything. But yeah, how about this, Meg? We've been chatting about like ourselves before you came. How about you share some about you?
Oh. Okay.
Yeah.
What's up?
Well, first of all, they were narrowing down you're from somewhere from Eastern Australia. What exactly makes that different from, let's say, the other regions? Like, is the accent a little harder? Is it a little more rural?
I can tell you instantly. 4 seasons, 1 day.
What?
What?
So we can have rain for 2 hours, sunny for 2 hours, extremely windy for another 2 hours, 4 hours of nothing, and then it being sunny again. And then rains all night.
Oh my
my
god,
God.
okay.
Yeah. Bit of fun. That's how I
Talk
describe
about
it.
migraine.
Yeah, that's terrible. Like here, if it's like super hot and then it rains and then back in, we get like sick because of like the temperature fluctuation and the humidity.
What do you call that in
Not all the
Tagalog?
time, but
Trangkaso.
Trancaso, like a super quickie flu. It's
Yeah,
weird.
we have
Yeah.
Flu, headache. Yeah.
Yeah, it's like a flu that
Body
lasts like a day and then it's gone.
That sounds like trancazo in Spanish, and that means
Yeah.
like hit like hard.
Oh, yeah.
It's like being
Trancaso,
hit. Yeah,
trancaso.
it's like- Did you read Misty's chat message?
Yes, I can't read it in chat, but I know the video is pertaining to it. Super funny.
don't forget the hail. Oh, that's true. That's true.
You have hail?
Is it true
Oh,
that
yeah,
you,
no,
you guys eat like skippy, like kangaroo's meat? Is that true?
You see it in the supermarkets and it makes me feel so sad.
Really? There's
eat
actual
Skippy.
kangaroo meat?
Yes. There is in the supermarkets.
Is that like a common thing, like chicken and beef?
Yes, it is.
Oh, dear.
Unfortunately.
I didn't know that.
No!
Poor kangaroos.
Just tell me, is it delicious?
Is it
I
good?
haven't had. I think kangaroos are too cool. I don't want to.
Yeah, they're like swole and I've seen like the muscular kangaroos that like box you and stuff.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
You see, that's like flexion like that.
The ones that
very
will
sharp
actually
claws.
fuck you up.
Yeah.
You think you're strong until you see 50 of them at night in a golf park. Staring
Oh
at
my
you.
god.
Oh my god.
Aren't they
Oh
like an
my
infestation
God.
or something? That's why.
Maybe that's why they're like being
In
sold
some
as
spots,
meat.
it can be. I think.
Yeah.
It can be a bit
One of my
gamey
friends is,
sometimes.
Oh.
And they don't go sprawling every time they jump, sadly.
Oh. Novocaine. Okay.
Daddy Goobers.
What?
Are you the
No,
oldest
just
here?
call me Big Bro. No, I think Mecha and I are in the same. No, we're in the same age range. Well, we cannot say that.
I've
Yeah,
been
we're-
around a while.
yeah, around a while. Like Windows 95 and 8 a while. How tall are you? I am probably the short. No, I'm 6. How about you? What's your height, guys? Oh, so what's with the music?
5'3".
5'3".
6.
Okay.
Tiny.
5'3".
very
Small.
6. You're 6 feet.
Yeah.
Oh, we're exactly the same thing. Hey, you?
Wait,
What's your height?
you're a tall Filipino?
Yes, I am with very long hair. That's wavy. I look like one of those Mongol raiders.
Well, 5'6".
Oh, so around 6 inches around here.
Yeah. Daddy.
Just call me Big Bro.
Goodness gracious.
Cameron. But yeah. So aside from what's this? Yeah, tell us about what you're making. Cause I was asking Potato about like his early streaming, like should they call it career? Early streaming. Doki's on hiatus right now. So what about your content creation journey? So
Oh, okay. Well, actually, long ago, encountered somebody through VR chat, and they were streaming. I was like,
Okay.
I could never stream. I don't know. And they're like, just try. I'm like, what? No, just try. Like, okay. Bet. First stream was an 8-hour stream trying to climb up in one of those carnival worlds. Crashed out 3 times.
oh my god. Okay.
Kept trying. But the determination was there. Made it to the top. And ever since then, actually, a friend had a old squiggle pad. And they weren't sure what to
Squiggle
do with
pad?
it, and they were very kind enough to send it my way. Yeah, it was originally for, funnily enough, like Windows XP. But it worked!
It's a
still.
tablet.
Yeah, the squiggle, the thing where you look at the screen and squiggle, and it works. And I've been using that, and
A
I was
drawing
like, you know what?
tablet.
I'll try and do something cool with that. Yeah,
Squiggle
like,
pad.
like,
That's the
there's-
first
there's no
time I've heard that
screen.
term. Go on. Okay. Yeah. A drawing tablet. A pen tablet.
yeah. And so props to them. Thanks to them. I was like, you know what? I want to try and just practice drawing. Just less of actually making something of it, more just for fun. Learn. And I've been learning for about 2 years now, squiggling. I don't know how much I've improved, but it's fun.
Okay.
Yeah. Except I kind of do the Bob Ross thing because I'm terrible at drawing characters.
The Bob Ross thing. What do you mean the Bob
Oh.
Ross thing?
Just backgrounds then.
Yes, that's it.
Oh.
Bob Ross calmly talks about how to do these intricate paintings, and just within 30 minutes makes
Happy
an
little
amazing painting.
accidents.
Yes, happy little trees, rocks, and anything. You got
Okay.
it. That's the spirit, Dougie.
Oh, it's because I'm an artist as well.
I've been at it since I was like, since I could
Mecca.
pick up.
You need to
Coffee.
join my
Can you
Discord.
draw?
That's the spirit.
Yeah,
Oh,
I
yeah,
a
sure.
bit. I'll send you the link later.
I
Be
could.
happy to have you there.
Please
Really?
I practice for a few years.
And
I can only do stick.
that's okay. I too started with that and
Okay.
just right.
Yeah, but
Just keep at it
I've been
and have
practicing for a
fun.
few years.
That's perfectly fine.
Exactly, that's all it is.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just
for like
keep.
The only
15
art
plus
I can do
years.
is like
It's
acting.
just practice.
15 years. Good on you.
Yeah, you're just gonna throw money at the problem. I
It's my
can't draw.
calling.
Here, draw for me.
Yeah. That's why my avatar. Oh, I don't use Unity. I use
Okay.
the power of money. Like, can you do this to me? Yeah. Like, here's some money. Yeah.
Uh huh. Also, wait. Our music's a little.
Yeah. The power of money. The power of moolah.
The power of money. You have commissioning. You're gonna make like the likes
A
of Doki
big
Trier.
persuader. What?
Oh, that's good for like Doki and such. You know, you keep the
Oh, I
market
don't
going.
do commissions. I just
You don't
make
do
gifts.
comms?
I used to. It's not for me. It was like the unhappiest I've ever been.
Oh.
No.
Either Drew.
So now it's just exclusively to whoever I decide to give art to.
Thank you for gracing me with your art and Doctor.
Much love.
Why did you want to draw it by?
That's
What
art.
spurred you on? Like, right? Like, normally, here, let me say this first. Normally, I see people making gift art for large accounts because they want, in hopes of getting retweets, to get engagement or traffic towards their own profile, right?
Marketing.
Right? So, I'm like a nobody on Twitter. I have like, what, 200 followers. Why did you draw?
You want my honest answer?
Yeah.
I really liked your voice and your vibe, and I
Was very impelled to do
Okay.
that.
So, you were inspired. Okay.
You have a
Yes.
very deep voice.
No, the pit. No,
Not
no,
deep, but yeah.
yeah, like I know the
It's very
like
nice to
black
listen to.
daddy deep. Like, oh damn, girl.
Oh my God.
That deep. Ooh, you're looking really fine today. Yeah, like that kind of deep. Okay, thank you for the,
suave.
yeah, the suave, sexy black man voice. That's very cliche.
Oh my god.
Okay, so it was those things you mentioned. It's embarrassing to repeat, but yes. Okay. Cool. Thanks. Yeah. Mm. Oh, okay, the no, I might be late, but I hope you have fun with your volleyball tournament. Oh, what's that sound? 1 second. All right, so where were we? I got thrown off there a bit. Yeah, totally derailed. Wait. Do you guys have questions for each other? While my brain is still working up what to ask.
I'm not very good with conversation.
Oh no, I have to do it, huh? Yeah, how about you, Mecha? You're
I
the
got
one with
you.
the...
I got you.
Okay.
I was gonna ask Durkee, what do you use when you're doing your art?
I use an iPad, Apple Pencil, and Procreate.
Oh, gotcha.
Yeah.
That sounds like fun, yes.
I mean, I used to do like I can paint and stuff like that, but like my preferred medium is digital. Like with this, like I made this myself as well.
Excellent.
Ah, What did I click on? Every time I bring the money.
There he goes.
Uh-oh, what happened to you? Oh, okay. Recalibrating.
What about you, Gibbs?
What? What I use for art? Oh, it's an old Huion, like 20-inch thing. I think it's a 2020.
Oh, a pen display.
Yeah, I have a pen display.
Yeah.
Maybe one day I'll share the web comic I'm co-working on. Let's see. That's like under wraps. There's a bunch of chapters out. Where are you all from? There I guess I'm reading your comments. Australia. The West.
California.
Philippines.
Yes.
California. Asia. And the same island as I am in, which is where we're from, the Philippines. Potato and I. Right. Oh, 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 God. If only so you guys are lucky Doki isn't in chat. Should I read it, Doki?
All y'all.
What?
Hey
Go
girl,
ahead.
read my comment. She's so fine. What's up? Okay.
Oh my god.
All right. Good
I'm
grief.
so glad I'm not in chat.
Yeah, yes, you guys are so lucky she's not in chat. Oh dear.
I can't with these people. What the?
Oh. You just
Yeah.
the-
I think it's this chair. Accidentally sat on Mecca earlier.
right. It happens. It happens.
Yeah, these chairs are a bit hazardous. I don't know. I don't think they passed the operational safety test.
I mean, at least we don't get yoinked into the void when we sit on them.
Oh, imagine like the ragdoll. Like the Gmod ragdoll like glitch.
Yeah.
Or in Skyrim, like you start to spaz out, it gets worse each second, and then you yeet into the sky. Hold on.
What do you usually stream?
Me?
What do you usually stream? VR chat and just chatting?
Let me change. Let me change the POV. This is cute. Now, there we go. Now we can see Mecha by the fire, warming the beans.
Wait, what?
I'm gonna sit on the floor with you.
Yeah. Actually, before VR chat, these games, I told myself if I'm gonna stream on Twitch, it's just gonna be me in the games people don't usually watch. Like everybody's streaming mainstream games, Valorant, CS:GO, or Apex. I stream like my little boring games like RimWorld, or when I play Battlefield, or like the usual stuff that people with short attention spans don't watch. But now I guess I'm having fun just streaming stuff like this.
Yeah,
I know a lot of
VR chat.
right? Just chatting, right? A lot of people in chat I've noticed just want a window into a conversation or a or company. You know what I mean? We're inherently lonely individuals as human beings. Right?
Yeah.
That's why
Flame,
mobs are very
Flame in your
popular.
TikTok chat wants you to reply.
Oh, what? What is this?
Flame in your TikTok chat.
Stop. I don't know. Suit, what is the praise? Also to Flame, Index, Quest Pro, Quest 2, and Mecha is using, what are you using, man?
Second-hand index.
Second-hand index as well. There. Suti says, brought to you be the Australian government. Be or by? Brought to you be the Australian government.
Oh, by the.
Oh, Yeah.
Yeah.
What?
I don't. I'm just reading on
This is
chat.
an advertisement.
That's
Not
why.
yet.
Not yet. Oh no.
Also, yeah,
Flame
honestly.
is,
What,
yeah,
Bisaya?
Flame is- Yeah. They keep saying that until you read it.
Congratulations. All right, I have no mods.
You have a mod.
Can I moderate on PC?
What do you mean?
You need us to
As
help?
long as you have
It's because
access.
I have my laptop in
That's
the
okay,
front.
Mega.
So-
I mean, if you want to help, yeah, sure, but no, Mega. You have your you have your feet full with like tippy tappy dancing.
Speaking of, I am full of beans still. And I'm very keen to keep
Right?
wobbling.
I mean, okay, so you came from dancing. You're taking a short break here.
Yeah.
Is it alright if we ask what do you usually do like outside of VR? Because it's a common question. Like, oh, what are your hobbies? They ask the streamer.
Repairing push bikes is one thing. I've got like a whole bunch of push bike parts and stuff in the house.
One
So
sec.
I've
Push
got-
bikes are
I'm
like
doing that.
bikes with no pedals, right? For like the kids.
No, they're ones with the pedals, no motors. So mountain bikes, BMX bikes.
Oh,
things like
that's
that.
what you call it. I call them pedal bikes. When here we have push bikes, but
okay.
they're specifically for kids, like like with no
Ah,
pedals.
okay.
Yeah. Okay, now I get it. So mountain
makes
bikes or standard bikes, all forms of bicycles essentially.
Yeah, except for motorbikes. Those would be fun to work with, but I don't have them.
A whole different animal though. Very messy.
But,
So push
yeah,
bikes.
Besides that, yeah, I do
So
like
do
to
you-
cycle a lot. It's good fun.
Cycling. So like, are you more of a street bike user, like a mountain bike or downhiller?
I will use anything if it's even built like a tank. I will try cycling around with it.
Okay,
It's usually just to get supplies for family and just have a bit of fun. I have gone downhill mountain biking once. That was terrifying. Absolutely terrifying. I wasn't ready for that.
Really? I think that's fun. Oh, Doki's in chat. You're dead, guys. You're all dead.
It's over for you guys.
It's all over.
Oh goodness gracious.
And if you guys are flash, you came in with like the spray.
Goodness gracious.
Oi,
But,
Mecha.
how about all
You
of
can see
you?
where chat is.
Remember the Schwinn Stingray? Chat is asking.
The Schwinn-
The Schwinn Stingray. Is that the cruiser bike? With the fat thing and like, yeah, it's like a cruiser bike.
I think so. It sounds familiar, but I can't remember off the top
Yeah,
of
I
my
know
head.
what Suti's talking about. It looks like a Harley, but it's like a push bike.
Okay, yes. That I missed that, yeah. Those were fun. I remember seeing those rolling around.
Yeah. What's your main bike, Mecha?
My main bike, ironically, is a bike I've had for 15 years, and I've kept it
15.
somehow functioning.
Okay,
It's good.
okay.
It's like the you've got the pannier on the back, so you can carry either a person or pretty much all the supplies.
Like the
Uh,
rack?
And yeah, like the little rack at the back, and essentially, just like you would with any vehicle, everything's slowly being replaced on it over the years.
That's
kinda funny.
fine as long as it
And-
works.
Yeah, oh, it does.
Donkey
It's
Adam.
good. Funnily enough, though, the tires are really wide on it now. It's much more comfy. And
Is
also,
it
you
like
can
a-
do really hecking tight turns with it, as long as you're not on
Like
gravel. you go
fat
flying off.
bike territory or
Yeah, probably
Oh.
near the almost. I'd say yeah.
okay.
Because it previously had really thin tires. But yeah.
Cool, cool. Well, you already know my
how about-
hobbies. I like motorcycles and like riding out in moto, like escaping the city essentially. How about you two?
Adventure.
Adventure,
Yeah,
essentially.
What about you two?
Yeah, let's start with you, Foxy. Aside from money.
Save some money.
A lot of money.
Yeah, I'll
I just like swimming. I usually just swim.
Like
Outside of VR.
swim.
Yeah, swimming pool.
Like in your like private pool or like
Yeah.
an actual Olympic pool. Ah, see, I confirm that he has a private pool. Okay.
And going to the gym.
All right. Yeah. Fitness.
Yeah,
It's good on you.
So essentially fitness. Yeah. Fitness.
yeah, fitness.
And
Also, private one. Yeah, that's it.
that's not working. 1, 2, 3.
Snoozing.
Yes.
Oh, that's what that was.
Yeah. So,
His allergies.
yeah. The allergies. Ever since I went to the desert, sand just. Yeah.
It's still so hot here in the Philippines.
It's just so hot.
Like,
The
2 days ago, I was
campfire is not helping with the phantom heat.
like, 2 days ago,
Send
it
the ones
reached
back to
like
Australia,
45.
I might be the only one that says that, but please.
Yeah, it's so hot. Stupidly
It
hot.
reached 45 2 days
45,
ago.
yeah.
Celsius.
Oh,
Like,
man.
I hate
Oh,
it.
that's right, it's winter where you're at, huh?
Oh, you're lucky you have a cold season.
Please send the weather this way.
We don't
No,
even
it's-
have that.
Yeah, here it's we cook the day we're born here. That's it.
Yeah. I'm being baked potato. Keep sneezing. I know you love me.
Okay, I lost that one. Uh. Don't remember me. Okay. Well, all right. So push bikes, swimming. And what about Doki? What do? You just draw off stream? Like
I just
your
draw,
hobbies?
yeah.
You just draw.
Sometimes
Okay.
I play like Fortnite, yeah. Oh, well, I mean, I like cooking
what
also.
about you?
Like, I really love doing that.
Hmm.
I might try Fortnite.
So very casual. I see.
What about you?
Oh, nothing exciting. I just ride out of town on my motorcycle and work on my motorcycle a lot. Or like take care of my fish. I have like 4 aquariums in my room. I take care of little
What?
eels. Yeah, I love fish.
Eels? All eels?
No, actually they're called loaches. They're like woolly loaches. They're so very small. They're very cute.
Oh.
They look like leopard geckos, except they're underwater. They have like brown and gold spots. And, yeah.
Oh.
So yeah,
used
I
to
take care of like
uh,
fish.
I used to take care of hammerhead sharks. Because my dad has like
Oh
4
my
hammerhead
god.
sharks.
Okay, yeah, we got
But
it.
the-
You live
but
in
the-
a super villain's mansion.
No, because and then the one who fixed the aquarium
Philippine
because
super.
because they're going to like make a new aquarium
Man,
but the guys who fixed that, yeah, but the one who fixed the new aquarium fucked up, and when they transferred the hammerhead
They
shark,
got fed to the sharks, okay?
the aquarium broke. The aquarium broke.
Yes, that guy's gone now. Okay, understood.
Yeah. My dad was thinking of
Oh,
having lion cub.
Oh my. Oh, okay, we get it. We get it.
But the-
We
but-
get
but
it.
But the process was so.
Oh
It's
god.
such a hustle that he didn't go through with it.
What's
Hey,
your
it's easy to
AC
get-
temp? What the hell?
21.
It's easy to get hammerhead sharks.
Really? Where? Like where? In
Yeah.
Cartimar? I haven't seen any.
Ah.
Oh, what else do you have? Do you have like, I don't know, polar bears and Siberian tigers or something?
No, not like that. My dad has a hammerhead shark. Well, used to. My uncle has like falcons.
Oh, fuck. Okay. You know, Norm, this may seem like very casual to you. Like, oh yeah, I take care of pet fish like guppies and, you know, the corridors, like goldfish. How about you? Oh, you know, hammerhead sharks. Exotic creatures that you need to
Hammerhead
smuggle.
shark is so cute. So cute.
No, not.
They're very tiny. They're still babies hammerhead shark, not big hammerhead shark.
Yeah, I know they're enormous. I know they're like, I don't know what they are. Yeah, I know the small one.
Yeah,
Okay,
they're still babies.
aside from that,
Yeah.
go on.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, wait. Do you want me to tell you that my dad does the evil laugh? No kidding.
That's too
How dare
too
you.
much
How
gold
dare
running
you.
through his blood. So we know if we're gonna go on a road trip, he's gonna like answer the gas and the food.
Sure.
See, easy peasy, yes.
Food and gas. As long as companion is there.
Yep, cool. We're gonna be there. You buy us. Yep. Super easy to please. I'm a sucker for food, guys. I'm sorry.
Me too.
Me too.
Man,
And then I work out. I work out after.
yeah, and then it feels great to eat again. Yeah.
Yeah. Swimming like makes me really hungry.
It does. It really does.
Yeah.
I remember when even in the beach, right? Especially in the beach, like after, like
Yeah,
everything just tastes so
After that,
good.
I eat the-
Like, oh shit, just eat with your hands. You know?
Gab,
Yeah?
quick question. How do you feel about those religious comments in chat?
Oh, well, religion, you know, you purge them
Okay.
from existence. Ah. Anyway. Thank you, assassin.
Oh?
I didn't tell you to purge potato.
Wait, what? What?
What did you do? What? You may have missed there. Oh
I did not know I
no.
had moderation powers in this
Yeah, I didn't know that. Okay, going back to chat. I'm sure they'll be back somehow. Oh, they time out. Okay, they time out.
Okay.
Yeah.
That timing of that.
That time.
VR chat always time me
Welcome
out.
back.
I'll come back.
I get it.
Uh,
I keep fixing my VR chat, like verifying it on Steam, reinstalling.
really?
But I check my internet, my router, my computer, everything.
Sooty,
Everything's good,
check out
except VR chat,
CC.
like still times me
Ah.
out.
See? Kuya, oh, sorry. Was it picking up? Am I too close to my mic? My bad, guys. My bad. It seems like the sound from my headset was being picked up by my microphone. Are you
You're
accepting
going for like
what? Look, I'm waiting for you guys to be bored. I'm actually okay doing like long streams like this.
24-hour stream.
Okay, maybe I need to eat and take a bath. But
Self care is very important.
oh, I know. Mecha. You have enough energy in your tank, right? You have like 5% replenishment.
Yeah.
You wanna show him what you were
Really
dancing
make you
earlier?
dance.
There we go. Let's turn the camera. There we go. There we go. There we go. Come on, come on, come on.
gotta keep
Come
working
on,
on
give
the
us a
dance
show.
Yeah.
Come on.
Mech always gives me a show when I like sit in the bleachers.
Don't throw me under the bus. Come on.
There we go. There. This is a good view. This is a good view.
But I need the song. Choreo.
It's okay. Come on, play the song.
Play
Oh, it needs the video player. We don't have that here.
Well,
One of the
true. I mean, we
world's
are just
there is one.
camping.
Really? I
mean, I could use the overlay, but it's probably easier if you hear the one I'm dancing to. Right, I'm just listening to the sounds in my head. It's fine, guys.
No. No. Wait. No, I'm gonna figure this out. Wait.
Hear it. But surely
Oh,
there's a way.
guys, let's go to my like favorite world. Hold on. I know. It's cozy as well. It's a slowly island. There is a video player there. So 1 second.
Ooh, okay.
The
Ooh,
world.
hot buns.
1 second. Hot buns. Where is it?
You're in the fire. You're in the.
Careful,
you're in the
don't
campfire.
cook in the fire.
Shh, it's okay. I can survive for a short while. Where is
looks a
it?
bit warm though. Careful.
Ah, yes. Invite plus. All right. This is the first map where I streamed in. Also my favorite
Oh.
like hangout world. Ooh, you guys can see my controllers. Ooh. Kurwa. Oh, someone's from Poland? Doki immediately blocks. Okay, wait. Ba-da-da. Ba-da-da. Speaking of which, I can pause the music. There we go. Am I in? There we go, I'm in. Hold on. Ah, oh no. No, I turned it off. Idiot. Stream. Okay. Everything is set. Let's just set this good. Alright, so this is Lonely Island. We can place with lovely lights. It's yeah, you can see why I like this place. Blood. What is that game? VR chat. Welcome to VR chat. I know you all wanna see Doki. Hold on.
What?
Isn't it cute? There's 4 Nova BC. Oh, nothing. It's a chat. Okay, so
Oh, this world's so cool.
funny enough, the video player is like right here. Hey, come on.
You find that word. What?
Yeah.
Ah,
Oh, hi there, Gail. Yeah, if you like touch the mountain over here, there is actually a video player. 3D? What's 3D? 3D? How do I share it? Really?
I think
No,
you click
oh.
on that.
Oh, there we go. Try it.
There you go. Let's see, what's the song? The Just Dance song. Let's go.
All right. Let's find a good angle. Let's have. Because Mecha is white, it should be against the mountain, I think. I'll be here. What?
Just try to find the song. My God.
That's okay, no problem. Here. I'm gonna put the camera where the video player is. So you can face it. There we go. For now, you're going to see my mod and Potato Foxy. Also, welcome back, Gail. Let's look at this first.
Here we go.
This is
It's a
Potato
two-player song,
Foxy.
so technically we can all join in. It's
Oh, I'll handle the camera, no problem. Wait, I lost the view. There we
you
go.
guys want to join in?
No, you got this, champ.
Potato, you want to join in dancing?
No, I'm not very good with. Fencing.
Oh,
Oh,
come
you
on. You
do
get the... No, I'm like handling the camera, and Doki has to manage the stream, so it has to be you and Mecha.
Damn.
No,
You can
I'm
do
not
it.
very good at
And you're
that.
in full body wearing half body.
You're in full
Jump
body,
in,
yeah.
Okay? You're welcome
yeah.
to jump in. Let's see.
I'll
is
jump
this
in
video-
later.
No, just we can do it. Come on. Look, you stream in front of hundreds of people in a damn thong.
Wait, where's the video player?
One way to say it.
I can't see the video player anywhere. I see this.
Yeah, I see this too.
maybe you need to play. Oh, hold on. Maybe it's a setting thing. Eh.
What is this?
Other settings. Yeah, it is enabled. What's happening? Oh. There's this thing called 3D on the side. I don't know what that is. Or 2D. It's one of these funny buttons.
Oh, there's a video player there now.
Okay.
I clicked that button there, and there's something.
I see it.
here.
I see it too. Yeah, it says please
Oh, there we
stand
go.
by.
Okay.
No.
Well.
All right,
hopefully
good.
this works.
Yeah. Let me just set up the camera out.
Dance, so it shouldn't be too crazy.
Ooh, it's gonna be
Yeah,
fun.
If it loads.
All right, gang.
Oh, there you go.
So let's go here.
Daddy.
Yeah, guys, you are about to get a special show featuring Mecha, a resident Nova dancer, and Potato Foxy. Let's just wait for the video to load.
I'm very stiff. Yeah, it's still standby.
Still standby.
Say something?
Hello, that's me. Is it working? Do I need to like fiddle with it?
It's just saying please stand by.
Oh, it's probably the error I was
It says
getting
master
before.
only. Maybe.
No.
Are you the master? It says master.
Yes,
It should
I
be
am.
accessible.
Yes, I'm the master of the instance, but hold on. One second. World.
Maybe change it here.
Why don't you work?
I know.
Maybe change it here.
Hold on. It says win
it
10
says
If
player.
that was enabled, I don't think we could put in anything in the URL, so it should be okay.
Windows 10 players been checked. Support me on
Try
Path.
putting in the video again.
It says it's like loading. What's that? Hold on. One second. Oh, it says I need to type. Okay. Can you like send me the video URL? I'll try inputting it. If that works
Yeah, I
or
got
makes
you.
sense.
Can't you just make it like for everyone?
It's that's what I did. Like I'm gonna click master only again. And I think it locks out for you guys.
Oh, okay.
Oh, should you click live? Let's see. I'm confused at how
Maybe.
this works. Uh-huh.
I think
Copy
live
this.
is for if you're displaying something from Twitch. So, for instance, you could
Oh.
do a Twitch feed playing through here, so you could have Twitch while you're twitching in Twitch, and it'd be very confusing.
Play video URL. I'm clicking play. Okay, that's confusing. Hold on. Paste. Yep, it says it's like processing or something.
Yeah.
Man, if it's broken, we're gonna go to your
Otherwise-
your gym.
I was gonna say, I think if it hasn't been updated for a while, it may not be functional.
No, this is such a pretty view. Let's go back here later. Let's go to a world with a proper video player. What do you suggest? Because this is the perfect place to like chat with the campfire, but for the dancing part, it needs to be a stage.
I could.
Since we're dancing, I'm gonna go with street dancer clothes.
There we go.
I've got a smaller instance,
Street-
which might be more ideal. but there's
Street dancer
that's
clothes.
just like a room.
Ooh,
I think all four of us
I like.
would fit there if you wanted to dance.
Sure.
But
Let's go.
otherwise, there is the big dance world, but this one might be more ideal.
A curfew gib where that.
Ooh, okay. Looks like we're in a studio, guys. Oh boy. Hold on. Oh no. Oh no.
As mentioned, it is a room. It's not very
Oh,
big.
it's literally a studio.
Yeah.
Okay,
so you
okay,
can
I
still
guess-
chat to Twitch and just set up the camera where, like, right there if you wanted to, where the actual camera is.
All right. How are you gonna dance?
Just fine, as long as they don't run into a speaker or something and knock it over.
Okay, okay. I guess we're gonna sit down. Let me set that up real quick.
But yeah, it's literally a room. I don't know. I thought it might be ideal because you're streaming.
Yeah, hold on. Let me just.
Tiny.
You can quite literally raise the roof. Woo.
Okay, this works. And then fix this. Put the camera over there. Okay. This is like the audition, yeah.
All the pets.
I will not pass.
Also, thank you for the follow. Flush the Wolf. We made it to the back room. All right. Here's the crowd. We're gonna wait on Mecha over here as he prepares his.
I've got
Crackers?
that wedged behind the corner is the actual video system. So, in theory, this should start playing any second now. And the screens are literally on the DJ deck. So, it might be a bit tricky to see, but we should be able to. Oh boy, can I grab this?
Meanwhile, Doki is just banning people. I love it. look at that cold, rootless stare.
There we go. Okay. Here, Gab. You've got full control of the lighting system. So, if you want
Ah.
to, you can turn it on or off, depending. And so over
Wait.
here, we've got the screens. That'll show you your dance moves over here if you want to give them a shot.
Okay.
Unfortunately, there's no actual full screen. Oh boy. I probably should have thought about that a bit better.
I throwing you off?
Nope.
Didn't think
So remember, you can power on.
How you doing, young lady? The feeling that you give
Ooh, there we go.
It's a bit tiny.
Okay. That's gonna be from my POV.
It's so tiny.
You got this. Come on, stand next.
Just pretend you're. If you want, you can even have to go DJ while you're at it.
Oh, okay. There we go. Let's see from this angle.
Is the pause that way?
Oh, there we go. Oh my
There you
god.
go. Yeah, that's the lighting system. This world has a pretty intense lighting system. Wait, can you see the screens just about?
Yeah.
I can try.
If it's a bit too tricky, we can go through the actual place with a proper screen.
I think this
You
is.
can go to the jazz dance.
I got a world, but I just wanted to see if this will work for us. If it's too tricky, we can go to a different one.
I'm game for any. I'm game anywhere.
Okay.
Because it's so tiny. I have bad eyesight.
That's so- I like the world though. I like the club. It's super fun.
You instant. I mean, I can guarantee this place will work if I can drop a portal, because. I mean, if I
Alright,
give that a
alright.
shot instead.
Oh, here we go. Yeah, this place. 100%. Okay, chat. Today we're going back to high school. What movie was that again? They were like singing and stuff. It was like a high school movie. I don't remember what it was. From desert to the club real quick. I know, Gale. Such is the effect of friends. All right. Let's make it.
There we
So-
go. There we go. Much better. Much better.
Okay, so we're here right now. We are now in the locker room. Let's get head on over to the stage. So Mecha over here is choosing stuff in this wonderful window with a lot of stuff. I actually hang out here after
We've
working
just
out
got a couple of
every now and then. Yeah.
Also, you're more than welcome to pick songs, and you might want to even hint to chat if there's a song that they're a fan of. It's possible to add it in here because we've just got 12,000 songs. It should be.
You heard it. What song? Oh, Potato Foxy says wait. But while we're waiting for Potato Foxy, can you guys suggest what song we'd have Mecha over here dance? We have a repository of around 12,000 songs, so it should be there.
That's right. In theory.
Yeah, it's called High School Musical, so they got it. Bad Romance. I'm okay with that.
Definitely somewhere here.
I'm game with that. When the sun goes down. Okay, we added to the queue.
Right, Bad Romance. I think I found it.
I know my shit. Okay, Suti.
What's another one?
When the sun goes down, ask Suti.
Let's see if we can find that.
Are you dancing too, Gib? No.
I don't think we've got When the Sun Goes Down. Sorry.
Oh, we don't have it, Suti.
Because these have choreographies too.
Oh, yeah. Do you have a rap genre, sir?
Just try giving us the song. If it's here,
Just
it will show up.
Guys,
But,
give me a song title. Yeah. Potatoes Foxy said they'll be here in 2 minutes.
Also, Doki, you're welcome to pick a song too.
Yeah, Doki.
Oh, I'm just here.
Yeah, I'll just be in the bleachers too later. So, actually, I'm gonna sit down here right now and just set up the camera. It's perfect.
Don't forget your complimentary sharks while you're here. There you go. Complimentary
Yes.
shark. 1, 2.
Wait,
Thank
am I?
you.
Wait, wrong. Oh boy. Oh no. Yes, that's me. Okay, hold on, chat. Let me just fix the. Potato Fox, we're gonna join you. Yes. Hello, this is the bleachers. Yeah, I said yes. Oops, hold on. I'm busy with my menus. Click OK. The camera's a bit tricky to use. Okay. Does it need to be flipped around? No? Suti says, bet on it.
Bet on it? Okay.
Yeah. Oh, there's Foxy.
Let's see if I can find it. Let's see.
Hey,
Welcome back. What
easy dance
happened?
only.
Yeah, what
Oh,
happened?
I actually pressed the home button.
Oh, okay.
While I
I
was
thought you
loading into
crashed.
this world, I actually pressed the home button.
Okay. Hold on. Okay, I need to like slouch with this.
Welcome back.
Oh no, you can. Yeah.
Yo.
Hey, easy only.
Okay.
Okay.
It's one from Just Dance, so it shouldn't be too crazy, I think? Question mark?
Yes, this. Let's go here. Yep, yep. Let's go center the camera over where they are.
We'll,
Oh
we'll start
boy.
in 3, 2, 1.
Do it. There we go, there we go. Nice, nice, nice.
Let's go.
Nice, nice. Oh, 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 almost, almost. No, you got this. What are you talking about? Oh my god, it's so hard to control.
So this has a little bit of choreography that will both change places at one point in the song. So
All right, all right. You move a bit closer so I can zoom in. There we go, there we go. Come on. Yeah, there we go. Perfect, perfect. Perfect.
Pretend you're on a phone, okay? Pretend you're on a phone. There we go. Tappy, tappy, tap, tap.
There we
And then
go.
here we go. Get ready. 1, 2, 1.
Hmm.
Doing good? Yeah, yeah, you got this. And then kind of point at the ground. We're about to change back to what we did previously. You got this. And again. You're doing good. You're doing good.
You're doing great, guys.
I went the wrong way. You kind of hop on the spot and swap spots. There you go. That's it. And swap. There you go.
Yeah.
Wave, and then we kind of wiggle wobble. Hands together, out. Hands together, out. Let me just speed it up. Wave with one hand. 1, 2, 3. And back. Doing great.
I can't keep my mind off you. Where you at? Do you mind if I come through?
And point to the ground.
They call me Thomas, last name Crown. Recognize game, I'ma lay mine down.
I'm a big girl, I can handle myself. But if I get lonely, I'ma need your help. Pay attention to me, I don't talk for my health.
Strike a pose.
So does everybody else.
Baby, we
And
can
again.
get on the low. Let your guard down, ain't nobody gotta know. If you would a girl, I know a place we can go.
You're doing great.
Girl, do take me
You're doing great.
Take a second if you need. We're about to swap spots. And the wibble wobble. So in and out, but speed it up a little. Wave.
Doki, you know what to do.
That's annoying. I know. The
Mm.
way.
It's alright, you can stand still if you want. There you go.
There we go.
Thank you so much. When Mecha does the wibble wobble, he just sort of like floats on his feet. That's so cool. Ah, yeah.
That's the spirit.
Go, Potato, you can do it. You're doing great.
And hop on the spot, another way. Spot, and get ready for the swap.
Did you block Sooty? Did you block Sooty?
No idea.
Okay.
One hand wave.
I just know someone said ha 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 furries, and I was like, okay, bye.
Oh, you banned the wrong guy. Sooty's a good guy. Yeah, Sooty's like the Australian dude as well, I think. Z is the one who was like, yeah. Yeah. Can you unban from that side or do I have to do it? Hold on, let me try. Oh, I got it. I unblocked him. My bad. I got it.
I'm back to. We're on the phones.
Yeah, great job, guys.
Good work! High five! See?
Yeah.
Heck yeah! Well done.
That was
Here we go. I'll pause. So it
There we
doesn't-
go.
Yes. You did it, Potato! Woo!
They did it, chat. They sure did it. Yeah, you guys are super cool. High five, high five, high five. Come on. High five.
Yeah, let's go.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. So fluid. So there you have it. Mecha dances. This is the studio. This is what I said.
Oh,
Like,
hi.
this reminds me of High School Musical. With the
It is a bit
bleachers
fun.
and such, right? So yeah, when I'm not busy
Yes.
doing
Spring
anything.
Thursday.
Thursday? Why? What's up on Thursday?
Only do dancing in VR on Thursday.
Oh, so he does
Oh.
dance.
With friends. I'm very stiff.
Well, there you have it. Maybe you can join up with Mecha. Mecha here is like, you host like dance sessions, right?
I like to dance. Yeah, yeah.
He
We
super
host
loves to
the
dance.
Asia Pacific dance session. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm actually the one that makes with the team that makes sure that goes. Yes, yes, yes.
Yes, I watched High School Musical
Potato.
before.
Thumbs up. Yeah.
Yeah.
Heck yeah. Now the question is, Geb, do you want to join in for a song? Because there's one song
Oh,
that did appear that chat approved of.
I can't look. I'm sorry. Ever
buddy
since that
dance.
last
You're nice and
motorcycle ride,
comfortable there. Okay. Then we'll just
I-
grab you
I
to the
lost-
dance floor. It's fun.
I lost control of my legs. I can't walk. See, I gotta do that when I move around. I don't have my full body. I don't have my full body.
You have body dance.
I mean, I have
You
body. I
have
don't.
body dance.
Yes.
No,
There is
no.
actually a couple where you can sit in a car and dance. Would you like to try one of those? So you can just sit over there and wibble wobble about. It's fine. We'll just drag you onto the
No.
dance
No.
floor.
No. Come on, you guys got
You
this.
don't
Give
have
me a
to
break.
dance.
Give me
You
a
look
break
so
today.
Okay, okay.
No, you did great.
I'll just put the song in the list though. that I was talking about.
Better than I would do, to be honest.
Yes, Nika's back. Suti. Oh no, you probably just lagged
Oh,
out.
thank God.
Totally didn't get banned or anything. Let's see what's the studio. See, it's the studio. There's the. Where's my hangout
Did
spot?
it
The
say I banned them?
Yes. Yes. Yes.
Oh.
Yeah.
I'm
Sorry, yeah, the
sorry.
Doki must have misclicked.
A good workout.
Misty, you can join the dancing
no
if you
more.
want. You okay?
I guess no more exercising later.
Yeah, there's your quota.
There is one that's seated as if you're in a car, so if you'd like to, that one's certainly possible. If you'd all like to
Yeah,
join me.
Gib. Dance, Gib.
Yeah, and
No, I
it's-
can't-
you
I can't,
don't
I
have
ca-
to-
I gotta host the stream, so you have to excuse me. Come on.
That's fine. Here we'll just kind of.
More of a reason it's your stream.
No, I gotta host the stream.
Yeah, go dance.
No.
Come on.
Come on, Misty.
Yes.
Misty, come on. Join us, Misty. Join us.
Yeah, join us. Join in.
Yeah, Misty, join us. Join them. I'm not dancing.
Yeah.
Damn.
So that I won't be the only stiff.
Do
There you go.
Rasputin.
You've been doing fine, Potato Crikey.
Yes, this is Doki.
Ooh.
I mean,
me.
there's Mad Romance next, and the other one is Teacher, which is in the car. So, would you like to try another normal dance, or just maybe if Misty would like to join?
Oh, Misty was joining. They're opening their VR chat now.
Ooh, excellent.
Okay.
I mean, we could have a practice at
You
another
said
song
us.
while we wait,
No,
or take it easy.
Misty, they're waiting for you.
Come on. Come on, Gab.
I can't. I'll dance like TBA.
I'll give
TBA.
you a gift later. I'll give you a gift
No,
later.
you can't tempt me. You can't tempt me.
I mean, there's a few of us.
Hey.
We can drag you over to the dance floor.
I'm very good at
how about this?
DT.
When I get DT, what's the double team? No, look, when I get my my full body on, okay?
No, not double team. Like deep.
What's DT?
Deep.
Doki, you ban.
Oh, I don't know.
Potato Fox. Can you ban
What?
Potato
Ban me?
Foxy?
Wait, what?
That's your friend. You take care of him.
Not
Goodness
kidding.
gracious.
That's your problem.
Look, when I have my full body, I don't mind joining, okay?
Yeah, wibbly wobbly
Promise,
shop.
promise. Like right now, I'm,
Can you get
I
your
will
full
hold
body?
you to your word.
I will, okay? I actually danced with you before, okay? So. Where's Mecha go? Let's follow
Okay,
him.
we'll wait for Misty.
I'm running around. There is the other song, Bad Romance, though.
Yeah.
Oh my
Which was
god.
selected by Twitch.
There we go, Bad Romance. I'm gonna. Yes, yes. You know, the funny thing is, the last time I danced was like in elementary, and the second time was like here with Mecha. I don't even know why.
Yeah, you did actually join it, which was fun.
Yeah, I did. I did terrible.
No, you did just fine.
No. Here, have some Mecha.
Oh, hi.
Yeah, say hello. Come on, Mecha. We have like
Hello, Twitch.
284
Wait,
viewers
hang
right
on.
now.
You mentioned TikTok as well,
Here-
right? Hello, everybody.
here, Gab.
Oh, hi. Whoa.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, there's an extra vibe trackers here.
Yeah. We've got some in the
This-
medical kit. You might want to check them out.
Why are there full body trackers in the medical kit?
It's very important. You never know when we might. Thank you for pointing that out. Yep.
Oh my god, these guys really want me to dance, huh?
Just
I
dance the
ca-
Blaha.
no.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Weeboo baboo.
Oh, you know what you can do? The baby shark. It doesn't need feet.
We do have that song here. Well done.
Oh no.
Okay, stream. Thank you so much for tuning in. It's been a fun day. We're gonna.
Wait, you're gonna wait.
Come on, you guys got this. We're at. Look, I'll join in round 2. Okay, like round 2 of streaming.
I mean, I could add Baby Shark.
Wait, Misty, where is Misty?
Yeah, Misty. Like, is your friend gonna join?
Yeah, wait. Let me check. I'm gonna invite Misty.
Yeah.
Misty the Pisty.
the pisty. Pisting yawa.
Yeah, Misty is Pisty. Some of his chat calls him Pisty.
Look at this specimen over here. Yeah, the dancer's body. All the points in agility and dexterity.
Hi, I like your scales.
Right?
Oh, thank you very much. But you're breathtaking. I mean, I'm meant to look like a robot, so but you've got a cool style. No, you're breathtaking. I don't have a reverse card.
Oh, we found another friend that's quick to fluster chat.
But
I'm finally not
would
alone.
you like to have a go at Bad Romance while Misty's joining?
Yeah, sure, but wait. Is Misty
Don't
gonna
worry, we've got the
join?
other one.
Or-
We'll keep the other one for when Misty. Oh, hello.
Like that. Yeah, I'm controlling the camera. It's gonna be on you guys.
Oh my gosh. Oh, hang on. Actually, follow me. We can show you where the trackers are. This way.
All right. Oh my god, there are actual Vibe trackers in the Medikit. What? Oh my god! There are actual backup trackers.
Oh my goodness, thank you.
Oh my god. What is that? Hold on. Oh, hold on. Alright. They're prepping
So
for the
that you'll
dance.
see our dancing closely.
Oh, this
Oh,
works.
yes, that does allow you to look closer.
Oh.
Well done, Potato. And crikey, I should remember all this off the top of my head. I'm looking for the song. If you're ready, we'll give it a shot, Potato. We got another song for when Misty joins.
Alright. Let's do it. Yeah, that's the Bleacher Gang.
Another.
So this is with Fitness Marshall.
Oh my god. Glomps, where are you? This is the song. This is your song.
This one might be a bit more complicated. Just do what you can.
Let's practice down,
Focus on like one hand, and then another hand.
down, flip it open, mouth, up, add some feet, down, mouth, up, down, flip it open, good.
It is a bit tricky.
Down. You want it? I've got the vaccine. Take it front. Switch sides, take it up. Arms out. Front. Take it down, you know this. Up, high, down. Speed it up and down. Now. Fast, feet, same arms.
Wow.
Up and over. Break out of the bad romance that you're in. You've been in it for years, and now's the time that you break free. Up. Hold it here. Take it up. Right back to that beginning. Front. Same thing, other side, let's go. How long you psycho, your vertigo stick. While you in my window, baby, is sick. I want your love. Love, 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 I want your love. Down, up.
Here we go
Take
again.
it low. Feet go right first. Now. Let's see those fast feet low. Take it up. You're breaking out of the web of their lies.
Oh god, sorry. The camera.
Same thing this side. You're gonna walk like a model with this foot. Let's go.
On the wrong way.
Back.
We have chat following along with you guys for their daily
Can you
cardio.
add a little hop to this?
That's the spirit.
Yeah. See, you guys are motivating.
Step out, and open. Take it up, take it down, and again. This is your interlude. It's where you get your breath while looking fierce. Speed it up, out. Good. I don't want to be friends. Speed it up again. Give me drama.
Oh my god.
Let's go. Drop. Fast feet. Whoa.
Wow, whoa. That was so smooth.
Switch sides. Won't you bet romance? Haley and I used to be the best
Yeah.
friends, and now we have a podcast together. So listen to Coffee with My Ex every
Come on,
single week
Chad, let's give
YouTube.
him some
Click
hands.
Right here to keep on dancing with us.
See, these guys
Y'all
are
did
so
really
cool.
good.
Yeah, you did so cool. Thank you, thank you. You did great. There. Again, Mecha and Potato Foxy. Mecha does this like 3 times a day, every day.
I try to.
All right. Well, all right. With you being the dance host, is there anything you wanna say, chat, or would be wanna joiners?
Missy's joining.
Hold on, there's the Blahadj is in the way.
Good, good.
There we
good.
go.
Oh, you want me to move the complimentary shark? Okay.
No. Tell chat.
Complimentary
Tell
shark
chat.
on your shoulder. There we go.
If you have any words for chat. Because they were motivated, they were dancing along with you.
Oh, that's the spirit, chat. You got this. Just do what you can out there, and you'll be dancing like champions in no time. Let's go.
Right?
There you go.
Thank you, Mecha. And Potato seems to be having fun joining in the session as well.
I'm having fun.
Right? You should add each other as friends.
Actually, would that be okay? Here, I'll do that. Well done.
Yeah.
Ooh, come on, high five again. Let's go. Let's go.
Look at that. Bridging
Yeah.
people.
Awesome work.
Oh, now Misty's joining.
Oh, okay.
Excellent. Excellent.
Because you made my heart doki doki.
Oh my god.
Oh my god. This
Goodbye.
doggy. Look at her.
Living the instance.
Look at her fancy
Hi,
goggles.
Misty. Welcome.
Yeah.
Come on, high five. Let's go. Let's go.
Oh, here's Misty. Okay.
Yeah.
Hello.
I just took a shower and
It's time.
dancing
after shower.
I know, right? I don't even,
Hold
I
on.
don't even-
Misty's loading
just keep
chat.
chilling.
1 second.
I'm gonna turn on my fan.
Hello.
Hang on, it's a bit warm.
Hello.
No,
just chilling.
no, Misty.
So Misty obviously had this like really cut legs meant
Look at
for.
the mouse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You look like a
Yes,
mouse.
legs.
No, your face look like a mouse. Yeah, like wait.
My face
I
looks like a
know.
mouse. What do you mean?
I know what Foxy's
What do you mean
talking
I look like a
about.
mouse? I don't look like a mouse. How do I look like a mouse?
You look like a mouse.
How in the hell do I look like a
Misty.
mouse? How? How do I
Okay,
look like
come
a
on,
mouse?
chat. Let's go for one more dance because
Come
I
on,
think
be
they're
a Nova.
tired. I'm getting hungry.
Be a Nova. My Nova piece is
Yeah.
broken at the moment.
Oh no.
I gotta rework on it.
What's this?
Unfortunately.
Health warning. They got this. Don't need to
Oh,
read
yeah,
that.
that's just, stay hydrated and make sure you're positioned safely in your place.
Ooh, a Nova core. There we
Or
go.
not.
warning.
The choice is yours, but
Yeah, come on, Misty. Join us.
yeah.
All right.
So this
Now we have a
one,
tree.
We're all sitting in the
Misty,
car.
look at your freaking legs. You're a dancer.
Yeah.
Look at your legs.
You got
Oh,
this.
dancer.
Look at that.
Oh,
Look at
dancer.
that.
Legs. Yeah.
Legs.
Look at that.
Look, it's
leg.
even got the veins. Like holy shit.
Legs.
Goodness gravy.
We have
All
chicken.
right. Come on. In position, guys. In position.
Hey, come on,
Alright,
come on, Misty.
so this one,
Okay.
you're all sitting in the
What's
car.
this?
So you can
We're all
take it
sitting
easy.
in
You
the
don't have
car?
to worry about standing.
Sitting.
You give.
Sitting.
Get in there
You got-
too.
No.
If it's the last one, yeah, go in there.
No. no, no.
This is your stream. Yes, get it in there. Go. Go. Look.
Oh shit.
I promise when I get full body.
Volume.
Wait, how do I fit all of them?
Where am I? Am I the? Am I the?
You're the one on the left. You're on the left. I'll just wing it in the back
On the
stage.
left.
Then group up, you two. Don't be scared. Group up.
Yeah, group up, group up. Move closer, move closer.
Hold on.
Move closer, gang.
Move closer. Hold on.
Yep, yep, no, move closer to each other,
Closer here.
Oh my god. There we go, great.
So let me teach you.
No, Nick, I'm gonna dance next time, not today.
Yeah. Next time you're in.
Geb is a cheerleader today.
Yeah. Like, I'm like managing the talents.
Oh my god.
One way or another, I'm gonna hit my controllers. Not good. How much time?
So let me teach you.
Come on. You're doing great. I think I won.
Oh my goodness. I have my headset already.
So let me teach you.
Maximum wiggle wobble.
So let me teach you.
Close.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good work.
Awesome. Let's give him hands, chat. Oh, we have a spammer in chat. Hello. Yeah,
Well
Suit is giving
I think
applause,
that's the last
Nika.
video we've got on the playlist.
Yeah. Thank you, Misty. Potato. Mecha.
Thank you for joining in.
Yeah. Hold on, let me just zoom out.
Thank you.
Wah. Okay, here's the crew.
What?
All right. Well, we had a fantastic show. We've seen the how they call this, the dancing dexterity
you're
that
in.
these guys have. I'm definitely gonna join next in the war. Okay, TBA. All right. Misty kinda came in late, but Misty, say hello to Chad.
Hello.
Hello, Chad, and then
Misty,
kamusta?
kamusta?
Says Potato.
Nangangati mata ko.
What is that? Is that spaghetti? No, it's a reflecto spear.
Oh yeah.
Spaghetti.
No, it's
No one wants
actually
to be
spaghetti.
That's spaghetti. It looks like spaghetti, right? Look at it.
Oh, it floats.
It does.
It looks like spaghetti, yeah.
Woo. Your time is. Whoop.
Oh.
Oh,
That's it.
And I
you go.
blink and Misty is shirtless. Okay.
What? Look at this
You're doing
abs.
over there.
Misty's a
I know.
dancer.
Yeah, with
Hello,
the
dancer. What do
Misty's
you
a
mean?
dancer.
Good catch. Whoa, and it's
Hello, dancer. What do
oh
you mean?
no.
Just look at Misty's butt.
I'm just
Very toned. Very toned.
very toned. Very toned. Definitely super
toned.
toned.
Sus.
Go.
Sus. Sus. Sus potato.
What? What am I doing?
Oh, that was supposedly the last dance because I am getting hungry and we have been doing 3 hours and a half.
Too.
Yeah, guys,
2 p.m.
how about
already.
we call it
No.
like a day for now?
No.
I have to eat.
You
have
didn't stream
to
for
eat.
3.5 hours because you remember your previous stream, like before you crash.
Well, yeah. No,
you gotta
we
stream
can.
10 hours now.
We
Straight.
can
Straight.
continue later.
Wait, 10 hours? Wow.
look. The food I was air frying is actually cold right now, so I have to do that.
Put another additional 20 minutes on that, and then you go stream for 20 more minutes.
Oh my god.
Yeah, I gotta eat too. Misty.
I already ate. Hello. Yes.
Yeah, and I'm gonna take a shower too. What about you?
Yeah,
You're stinky
stinky.
again.
No, I didn't even sweat. What do you mean?
Actually, hold on. Before you guys leave, let's all say goodbye to chat.
K-pop choreographies will make you
Yeah,
sweat.
like-
So,
Oh, you should.
Yeah,
you
like-
should.
like-
We
I
should
gotta
take a
practice
group
that shit.
photo.
We probably
Yeah.
should take a group
Yeah.
photo. Yeah. On the
I got the
bleachers, so it's
camera.
natural. On the
Let's see.
bleachers.
On the bleachers, okay.
On the bleachers.
Here we go. All right.
bleachers.
Put it here. Yes, there we go. Can I even cross my arms properly?
Where is it? Oh, yeah. Camera's over there.
On 3. 1, 2, 3. That's like 7 seconds, but okay. One more. All right. Third
There
time's
we
the
go.
charm.
One of those should work
Yeah.
as well.
Yeah.
Woo.
All right.
Good work, everybody.
Good work,
And with
everyone.
that, I take my leave.
Yep.
Good night,
Chat.
everyone.
Thank you for joining the
night.
stream. That was super fun. Mecha, Misty,
Misty.
Potato, and our lovely Modoki. Say
Let's check
goodbye
my
to them.
opportunity.
I will stream.
Is it less?
What time is it? Let's see when.
Time to go grab some food.
it's less, but
Yeah,
there's
let me
still
just end the stream.
Yeah,
TikTok,
there's still,
thank you
there's
so
still a lot
much.
gonna be fixed. Don't worry.
Yeah.
Hold on.
Well, yeah,
Yeah,
bye,
bye.
Jim. Take care.
Bye bye.
Hold on, let me
TikTok.
send you a yellow tag. There you go.
And for my viewers on Twitch, Areno, I can't see about them. Bye bye, Twitch. Let's hang out again next time. Lovely guest we had today.
No